If you're there, James, quit.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm actually, I went to that article and I thought, wait, what am I doing? I'm going to do the DTCC not submitting their clearance information.
That's fine. Sounds like a plan. We're going live, buddy. Like to now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the game begin! Tonight we gather not for spells, not for wisdom, but for glory. Two houses enter this court. Only one shall leave with honor, to dribble, to shoot, to posterize thy enemies. This is going to be legendary! The so-called underdogs, who somehow became champions overnight, but they win. Your defending state champions, the Griffey Lions. Introducing their opponents, a team that doesn't rely on luck or miracles. They don't celebrate, they don't hesitate, they execute. The Slith Serpents. This is the sacred annual contest to prove who truly has ball. Harry is facing the man who took everything from him. And the plan is layups.
Surprised you could afford that jersey, Weasley. You worry about my jersey. I'll worry about ending your bloodline on this court. If it isn't Lil Orphan Boy, you ready to squeal when I crush you? You murdered my parents in cold blood. Now I'm taking your ankles.
Officially taken off.
We love that wizard ball. Wizard ball. We love that wizard ball.
Yeah, wizard ball is my favorite game. I like the way they fly while they shoot and aim. Got a wand in my hand, yeah, I'm casting fast. While I cross up a wizard and I blow right past. I like fast breaks. Take it to the hoop, throw a magic alley-oop with a flying swoop. I like the spin move, I like the give and go. Cast a spell mid-air, watch me steal this shit.
Wizard ball. We love that wizard ball. Wizard ball. We love that wizard ball.
Yeah. Used to hit the stands with a butter beer. Watch Griffey Lions bring the heat all year. Slit serpent scheme and trying to play it slick. But we break their defense with a magic trick.
Fuck what they told us. Fuck every lie. Tried to kill the movement, but the ape's still alive. Diamond hands up, middle fingers in the sky. AMC forever. Watch the underdogs rise. We fight, we win. Joker Ape in this bitch. Let the war begin. I'm an ape motherfucker and I came from the other side. Seen corruption up close, watch the devils all hide. Now I'm on a mission just to pull back the curtain. Expose every dirty move and make the victory certain. This community different, this shit deeper than stocks. Built the family from pain while they laugh from the top. Now they terrified, we united and we learned the game. Cause the apes got stronger every time they threw flames. I bend over backwards for the people that hold. Loyalty rare in a world so cold. And I protect this family with everything I got. Cause real apes stand together whether rich or not. Media puppets spread fear, try to poison the crowd. But the ape family still screaming loud and proud. 6 years in the war and we still right here. Still buying, still holding, still killing they feel. Fuck what they told us. Fuck what they told us. Fuck every lie. Fuck every lie. Try to kill the movement, but the ape's still alive. But the ape's still alive. Diamond hands up. forever. Watch the underdog ride. They wanted division, they wanted us weak, but the strongest motherfuckers never breaking defeat. Every ape in this movement got scars from the fight, but we still swing back every damn night. This ain't just money, this a movement for truth, for the workers getting crushed while the billionaires loot. So I spit for the underdogs, the broken, the lost. Every ape still standing no matter the cost. I seen people lose hope, lose homes, lose faith, still they came back swinging with rage in they face. Cause the ape family built something money can't buy. Brotherhood that survives while the system all lies. And they hate that shit cause they can't control souls, can't break diamond hands, can't shake what we know. I learned what's behind the curtain, seen how they play. Dark pools, fake narratives, manipulation every day. Now I teach the community everything that I know, cause knowledge is power and together we grow. Every ape got a purpose, every voice got value, and I'll fight for this movement till my body unravel. Cause I know what we build and I know what it means. A family brought together through impossible dreams. Pull back the curtain, expose every lie. Real apes don't quit, real apes survive. One family, one mission, one goal to victory.
The system's down. We're taking back the throne.
I remember every headline saying AMC dead. Every paid motherfucker pushing fear instead, telling retail investors that we all should quit. But the ape family looked back and said, suck my dick, cause we still buying, still holding the line, still exposing corruption, one post at a time, and every attack only made us evolve. Now the whole damn movement became impossible to solve. See, I don't rap for fame, I rap for the apes, for the people still fighting while they stack up the hate, for the single mom stressed while they work every shift, for the workers feeling trapped, hoping life finally shift. This movement gave people hope in the middle of pain, gave broken souls purpose when they felt drained. That's why I protect it with everything in me, cause real loyalty nowadays hard to see. And if they ever come against the family again, then we rise together every ape to the end. Cause the movement ain't dying long as one ape breathe, and the system gon' feel what they never believe. Yeah, I'm Joker Ape, still standing tall for the ape family. I risk it all. AMC forever, stamped across my soul. And real apes never break, we just take control.
We run the cage. We own the night. No fear. No chains. We're the rebellion's light. This is our reign. Welcome to the AMC Ape Cage.
Welcome. I hope you enjoyed that music video as much as I loved making it, to be perfectly honest with you. That took a long time to make, and just to make sure that I tried to get the lip syncing as perfect as I possibly could, just for production standpoint and also for you. That music video I will post here shortly, right after the shows, when I will post that video for all of you. So this way you have a little present from myself and Matt and everybody else here on this, for making this what it is. Because honestly, there's nobody that deserves my gratitude more than you guys. And that's being as honest as I possibly can be. It's been one hell of a day for me today, and I can tell you that my day has just been dragged through the mud from all sides, and it hasn't gotten any better besides right now and being able to talk to all of you. And just to kind of go with my day real quick, and we're going to get into the topic, a lot of topics at hand, but my day has just been like, literally, I've been trying to patch everything together for this particular show. And the reason why I've been making sure that everything is in line, making sure that the audio is all fixed, making sure that the pictures are perfect, that the videos that you are about to see for the entire show today have been completely remastered, redone, and it is because this is my pinnacle argument. This is the one piece of information that we've all have had, that we've all have wondered, we've all concluded and believe what it is and who it is, but I'm happy that I'm able to show it. I'm happy that I'm able to sit there and say, hey, you know what? I did everything that I possibly could to make sure that you guys are put in a position where you could start making demands. Because that is exactly what I am trying to do right now. Well, I'm not robotic as of right now. I can tell you that, but it may be in and out a little bit, but that's just because of positioning of microphone for right now. So you guys all understand that portion of it. If you need me to, I could do this just so it sounds a little bit louder. So there you go. One of the biggest things today, and what Matt and I are ultimately going to show you, is how everything really has been colluded together. And how this has been not just a Wall Street issue, but also a government issue, a lobbyist issue, a, constituent. This is, and the ladder just runs up and up and up and up the chain, and it doesn't get any cleaner for anybody. It really doesn't. And when you see the stuff that you're going to see tonight, you're going to see a lot of dirt. I mean, a lot of dirt.
Keeping with new trends, it's pineapple soaked in Kool-Aid.
There you go. I wasn't there for this pineapple soaked in Kool-Aid, whatever's going on, because reason why my day sucked is, so I am trying to get a ride home right now, and I'm trying to order an Uber, and I'm on the south side of Chicago. Speaking of which, if you are in the south side of Chicago, or if you ever find yourself in the south side of Chicago, specifically around South Shore and I'm trying to think, Mackenzie Park, you also have Inglewood. If you mention Jimmy A, that's me, you'll be okay. So don't worry about that. Anywho, so I went to go try and order an Uber to try and get here on time, which is what I was frantically trying to do. And I couldn't get service anywhere. For some odd reason, like if I went to down a block, if I went up a block, if I went right for a block, if I went left for a block, there's just one dead patch where I couldn't get onto the Uber app whatsoever. So then I go and I try and, I'm plugging in my credit, I have my credit cards already saved on there, and all of a sudden I hit one of them, denied. I'm like, what? That's not happening. Okay, let me go to the other one. Denied. I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on? So, if you guys recall, I did a short video on this just to show you guys that, like, I was hacked live on air so people could see it. And because of that particular hack, it did hack my accounts, like my checking account, my savings account, that I have. And so that got basically depegged. From that getting depegged, then I had now, which I just learned today, hence why I was late getting here, and hence why the show started a little bit late. And Matt, thank you for the assist on helping me out on that one. But my bank basically went ahead and canceled all my accounts, is in a 21-day investigation, and so everything is frozen. And so I'm completely depegged. Hence why I couldn't get an Uber here when I needed to get an Uber here. But when I got the Uber and was able to order it, I was able to get here at like 6 minutes until 6:30. Thank God. Especially in Chicago during this time, which is rush hour. Everybody knows how bad traffic is now. So, to my Uber driver, a shout out to you, and to the security guard at the mobile gas station. Microphone is spinal tapped. What do you think that means, Matt?
There's a little bit of reverb, but it's not bad. It's coming clear to me.
Okay. Well, I hope that sounds better. But, actually, I could do that too. How does that sound? Better, Matt? You're my judge.
Yeah, that got rid of some of the reverb.
Okay. There you go. So, to the security guard that was at...
I have to add, though, I'm getting feedback.
You're getting feedback where?
On my mic, I'm getting an echo.
Okay, because I can't... You don't have an echo on my end whatsoever. So, I'm going to roll with that for right now. But, and I'm going to... I'm going to go ahead and talk to that programmer about doing some sort of something for this, because this is absurd when we've never had these issues whatsoever. Anywho,
I'm wondering if it's the same echo that ruined my voice in my last voice call.
We'll find out, but I'm gonna go with that for right now, and hopefully that kind of changes everything. But here we go. Better. Thank you, Stella. So, to the security guard at the mobile gas station that allowed me to go ahead and actually hook up to his hotspot to be able to get a cell signal so I can order an Uber. Kudos. Thank you very much for all your help. It was greatly needed at that time. I'm going to shift my focus on the issues that I have at hand. And there's a lot of them. One of them, particularly, is with our government. And I know you've heard me having conversations with, certain individuals, especially like 100 from MMTLP. You've heard me in debates with other people in regards to this. And I understand that, politics are politics, and you know what? You guys have your own views. I have mine. I'm not red. I'm not blue. I vote green. Whoever's going to make me money, that's who I'm voting for, period. That's how I work. And so how I look at it is, this is the same scam that we dealt with for the last 4 years under Biden. Nothing has changed. Nothing. And if for some odd reason, it just continuously gets more glaring and worse.
The face man changes, but the basic deep state is running this thing doesn't.
Okay. So you're the only one, Matt, now that you sound radiophonic, but I don't know how that's digitized across the platform, and I would check with your system because it's running off of my soundboard, and my soundboard is pretty accurate in regards to like what the volume is and how people are supposed to sound, or else I couldn't do
this. Point blank.
I tried turning my speaker off, so I'm just on speaker.
Okay, that could be one reason. The other thing that, Matt, we also have to talk about and try and do is actually put you on like either like headphones or something along those lines, because that way it will take away some of the backdoor noise. But anywho, back to the real topic at hand. Not a clue what Matt is saying. His is extreme. You're not processed, you're not nothing, you're exactly how you've been. This is crazy. And I shouldn't be doing this while we're on the show, but I'm going to fix it because people got to hear what you got to say. Point blank. So Matt, talk. If Matt's still there. Maybe, maybe not. That's one problem right there, but I can fix that real fast. Matt.
Trying different things on my.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I still need to be able to hear you because that's the only way I can actually fix what needs to be fixed from an audio standpoint. So, regardless, we're going to continue on with the conversation, Matt, because if I can hear you fine, which is I can, we're going to go off of that for right now, and then I can go ahead and we can fix a lot of the issues later on. So, hold on. I want that to be like that. Matt, talk.
Yep, I'm here. So I turned all my other stuff off, closed everything, and I just have my cell service on.
Okay. And the chat says, I wish I do have a drum roll. Hold on. We're going to get to that. Squirrel helps. Yeah, I hope it's better too. And the chat says, not a clue what he's saying. This is extreme. Nope. That's my magic button. Well, evidently, we're just going to go with it because that's what we're going to do. One of the things, no clue still. I don't know what no clue still means. So we're going to continue on for right now because we have to fix this. I'm not turning this off to start all over again. It's just not going to happen. And I don't understand why Matt would all of a sudden just Matt, because Matt's feed is coming out of my soundboard from my soundboard into the actual program. So I don't understand how that would change anything from the dynamics of it. And I would go ahead and I really would try and basically fiddle around with your Wi-Fi and or whatever your internet connection that you guys have, because it's not coming from my end and it's not in which it wouldn't come from Matt's. Anywho, real topics, real talk and understanding. Nothing is changing within our government. Nothing is changing from an economic standpoint. Nothing is really happening to improve the quality of life or, I mean, make your guys' life easier for that, just the American people in general. And one of the things that I honestly feel is there is just an unrelenting just the unrelenting portions of like, hey, let's go ahead and just basically lie. Let's go ahead and let's do lie. And Matt's not talking. I'm the only one that's talking. So, and I'm going to continue on. Matt, whenever he tries to fix his issue, we're going to go ahead and we'll bring him in. So everybody understands that. So, but like the lies, the constant barrage of hope, and all of a sudden just gets flushed down the fucking toilet like it's nothing. Like, okay, and I know everybody heard this in regards to Trump talking about the tariffs and tariffs basically bringing back a refund towards the American people for the amount of $2,000. He said that live at a press conference. Just to turn back and say, oh, I don't remember ever saying anything like that. Okay. You totally did, but okay, whatever. I mean, maybe I misheard something. Then when you talk, then you have our good friend that's new at the Treasury, Scott Bassent, and here he goes with talking about these Trump savings accounts for your kids. Now, why would the government? I want you to all think about this for a second. Why would the government, of all things, want you guys to have bank accounts, savings accounts with the federal government? Why do you think? I can tell you one damning reason. Maybe it's because it's an easy way for them to go ahead and utilize your funds, especially when the whole world turns topsy-turvy on them and when this economic catastrophe actually shakes itself out. Now, are there things that are slightly better? Yes. I will say things are slightly better. But the unrelenting, undisputed, you can't even fathom, you can't even not really understand and look at and talk with a clean face about is the fact that the crime on Wall Street is still rampant. They are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. There is nobody stopping them. There is nobody that's sitting there and putting up any type of guardrails. There's nobody that's sitting there and saying, hey, this is wrong. And no offense, we were sold a pipe dream. I think after 2 years, I can realistically say that now. We were sold a pipe dream about him fixing the markets, because if the markets were fixed, he wouldn't be talking about this grand haul that they're trying to make. He wouldn't be talking about certain things unless they were absolutely correct. Why do you need Tesla or SpaceX to be included into the S&P 500 and or the NASDAQ 100 within 5 trading days? Why? You're telling me that we are so scarce with fresh liquidity is then this is what Wall Street needed? Is more collateral to adjust for it? I mean, that makes absolutely no sense when you think about how much money was put into the repos, how much money was go ahead and put in through crypto, how much money was taken away from crypto, how much money was taken away from gold and silver. How much money was taken away from them trying to show everybody that this is what a bail-in looks like, but we're going to blame it on Zelle, even though Zelle has nothing to do with the actual liquidity. None. That's you telling a program to move money from here to there. That's it. And it's all for the grand scheme of collateral to go ahead and back their shorts. And I will say that confidently, and I will say it proudly. And the reason why I'm saying it confidently and proudly has to do with what happened today with MMTLP and some new documents that came out because of that. And a lot of it had to pertain to the DTCC specifically for this this part of the trust that needed to go ahead and actually show documentation where these files were within the DTCC And yet, they have no idea where they are, nor if they've gotten an answer. And they've demanded a hearing as soon as possible. But they have gotten no response out of the DTCC. Funny. Why is that? I thought the DTCC had to go ahead and keep every single record, has to understand where the trades are leaving, where they're coming. How is this going to go ahead and actually show that floats aren't oversold? They're not selling synthetic shares. That doesn't make any sense to me. This is the company that is supposed to protect Seed and Company. Instead, what you get is the clown show that is our government, hence baby government. And my good friend, he's going to actually be more popular than Jerome Mr. Burns Powell to me. So, I give you baby government.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I have two questions for you, but just to follow what you said about the.
Well, you didn't call me doctor, so I only get one.
Well, I'll shoot for two. You said that it's up to Congress if the president's face is on a $250 bill, but it is actually the Washington Post that's reporting two political appointees from the Treasury Department who have asked agencies to be ready to do that. Do you think politically it's a good idea to put his face on a $250 bill when people are struggling to afford gas and groceries?
I don't really understand this Washington Post article. That who hears from the Post? Yep, terribly written, terribly edited. Because basically what it says is that Treasury is following the law, and that we've created the bill, and that it's up to Congress, but that we follow the bill and it's up to. I didn't really understand what the story was.
So,
but anyway.
Appointees aren't involved in that. Two of your political appointees.
Yeah, of course, but we prepare for everything if it gets passed. Just like we were ready 6 months in advance for the one big beautiful bill for tax guidance. So we have to prepare in advance. You can't draw something up the day before.
Politically, do you think it's a good idea though when people are struggling to afford gas and groceries?
Look, I think it has. I think that it's bifurcated. That do you think we should have a 250th anniversary, the celebration?
Well, that's happening anyway. But putting the president's face on a $250 bill is a choice.
But Caitlin, it's not happening anyway. It's happening because it's being funded by private citizens, by the federal government, by state governments, by municipal governments to celebrate our country. And I don't think that there's anything untoward about having the President of the United States, the person who was President of the United States, on the 250th anniversary bill.
Does this guy just sound like the ultimate weenie to you? Because he sure does to me. Like the ultimate weenie. Like, just like Hayden, perfect quote. They need to burn down another warehouse. They sure fucking do. I can realistically say that proudly. They absolutely do. And trust me, it doesn't get any better. If you really listen to that entire press conference right there, this is the political nonsense that they are talking about. Who gives a rat's ass about the president being on a $250 bill? Do I care? No, I don't. No, I do not. Do you know what I do care about? Is when he specifically says that, okay, people are struggling with groceries, gas, you name it, everything, for the most part. And we're talking about funding a 250 ceremony for our country that is funded by you, the people. And that's what he blatantly said. you, the people, are funding this ceremony. Do you think that the people deserve to have this ceremony funded? I don't. I don't think that we should have to pay for that, considering I know that 95% of the people that do not live in Washington, D.C. are not going to be there. So how is that relevant to our current financial situation and our current economic woes? Because, hey, has anybody seen a ceasefire yet? I know I haven't. But it gets better. It's not done. So far from the new Secretary of the Treasury, we've gotten bullshit. We've gotten fiscal discipline, which he does not actually preach and do in any way, shape, or form. Then we go ahead and we now have to talk about how supposedly they have to buy back, and they're starting to buy back our debt tomorrow. Supposedly, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a big supposedly. Because here's why it's big. Our debt is not $12 billion. That auction did not only yield $12 billion worth of our debt. Not even one iota of fucking close to actually saying that this is a relevant number. Not even close. Because what's actually like offshored, what's actually in derivatives, what's actually in private credit, what's actually in BIS that no one in their right mind in our government has any iota of a thought of what's actually out there. They have no idea, folks. None. They know just about enough for our new Trump and Stuff commercial.
Hi, I'm Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasure Chest. When the economy feels stretched, swollen, and politically uncomfortable, I reach for Treasury Cheek Tightening Gel. Have tariffs left your market feeling raw, irritated, and squeezed in all the wrong places? Are consumers clenching at checkout while Wall Street pretends it's just temporary pressure? That's why Trump and Stuff created Treasury Cheek Tightening Gel. It tightens liquidity, smooths over panic, and helps you sit through another press conference. Just apply a small amount directly to the affected market. In seconds, that painful economic swelling starts looking like fiscal discipline. Whether it's margin pressure, tariff friction, or a sudden case of over-leveraged cheek, Treasury Cheek Tightening Gel helps Wall Street smile through the burn. Now available in 3 strengths: soft landing squeeze, liquidity lock, and executive clench. For maximum coverage when the numbers are ugly, but the speech still has to sound beautiful. Side effects may include higher prices, tighter consumers, and sudden explanations from people in expensive suits. Ask your banker if Treasury Cheek Tightening Gel is right for your portfolio. Treasury Cheek Tightening Gel from Trump and Stuff. When the economy gets stretched, squeezed, and sore, tighten the cheek and call it growth.
Treasury Cheek Tightening Gel from Trump and Stuff. When the economy gets stretched, squeezed, and sore, tighten the cheek and call it growth. Trump and Stuff. Rub it in, spin it out, and walk away golden.
Trumpet stuff. Holy shit. I don't know if I'm going to get shut off for any reason, but like I am on a roll when it comes to making fun of our political figures, and especially with these creative characters and these new product lines. Matt, if you're alive.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better.
Yeah, you kind of sound like you're going in and out, but I mean, we haven't had you as like a good actual talk of like actually having breath to talk. So I want you to kind of, if you don't mind, can you explain more in depth, especially in regards to the MMTLP discovery in regards to that DTCC claim?
So basically,
Yeah, you got cut off.
well,
You keep on going in and out. So now I hear it. Now that's a connection issue on your end. That's what I wanted to hear. And thank you, Matt. I wasn't trying to trick you there or anything, buddy. I was just trying to get to the bottom of what exactly is going on, and it's the ultimate connection issue problem. But that's fine.
is it more consistent now in your room?
It sounds better. It's just a matter of like we got to keep you in that channel. So we just got to figure it out. But we'll work on that here shortly. But go ahead on the DTCC stuff.
So basically, the judge granted subpoenas for relevant information regarding the trade data on MMTLP through certain period. These subpoenas were issued to different ones, but the NASDAQ and the DTCC. The DTCC did not produce them funds. The trustee put a motion in the court to have the issue addressed by the court. Now, the court already subpoenaed for this information. They were supposed to be due and disclose to the trustee, but they never did, which basically tells, in my opinion, what violation of court order.
They're in violation. I'm going to recap what you said real quick, just so, because you were kind of going in and out a little bit from my end. But the trustee and what the DTC didn't do, they were in breach of what they were court ordered them to find and what they wanted the information pulled from. And so they keep on going ahead and they're not delivering what they need to deliver. So, and hence there's now a court ordered hearing, which they're trying to make as fast as possible to basically go ahead and put the stranglehold on the DTCC as of this point, right? That's what I'm gathering from.
Pretty much, they want the court to leverage its power over to require them to withdraw the time period.
Okay. Matt, we got to get you closer to the modem or wherever your Wi-Fi or whatever you got going on for that, because I can hear you now, and now it's the breaking in and out. So I'm just telling you now, so this way you know. But we're going to go ahead and we'll get it fixed eventually. It's just a matter of time until we get it right where we need to be. So, it's huge.
I'm sitting for my 5G Wi-Fi.
Okay. I just don't understand where all the trouble came in from when it comes to sound, where we've never had this issue once before. You know what I'm saying? That's the only question I have, because like we've never had really an issue when it comes to the actual sound quality, and especially
not on my own. Within the mixing channel.
Yeah, but that's where, and now we have that mixing problem fixed, and now it's yeah, now it's another issue of something else, of something else, of something else. But whatever. We'll get it fixed. It will be a non-issue here shortly. It's just a matter of time until we get it right overall. The problem that I have is that if you're seeing this, now you're kind of seeing a guilty party. You're kind of seeing a mapping quest that's kind of happening underneath the scenes. And if you don't understand mapping, let's look at this like pipes and plumbing, for example. If you're getting water and you have a leak at one spot, but let's just say the water is shooting backwards as opposed to going forward, but it seems to keep on going backwards at the exact same spot every time. Because who's in control of that plumbing? Well, for the mean basket, everybody knows that Citadel has been our market maker for a long, long time. And they just happen to be the ones controlling the plumbing. Hence why they're always in court with demands in regards to, hey, we need to have this extended for clearing times and options. We need this to happen because this will help us be more efficient. This needs to happen because we need this. Well, maybe what you need is not to have under one umbrella a market maker, a hedge fund, and your own alternative dark pool and ATS. Maybe you need to stick with one side of the equation and not worry about the rest, is what I honestly believe. And this whole thing with the DTCC and them not being able to go ahead and actually produce, court documents that say, hey, this proves our case that we're not the ones at fault here. This should be in the midst of someone else. Why is it that you don't have it? You're the one that protects Seed and Company. So where are shares then? Because now you open up the lane for that question. And that's an even bigger question and a bigger problem to answer. Maybe Matt's back. And
Dude, I don't get it. You pay for water flow and then you wholesale the water flow out. When you get the shares, somebody fucking cares.
somebody has them. Somebody has them. I think someone just sold them to one too many pieces within that order flow. Because it's not just one company that's buying them. It's like 5 or 7 or 12 or who fucking knows now.
Well, the last claim was that institutions own 46% of the flow.
Well, if they own 46%, and are we talking about AMC that owns 46%?
Institutional ownership in AMC is anywhere between 30 and 50 and 47 whatever percent of the flow.
I believe that like I believe this.
Depending how you equate that 17 whatever percent
I am going to specifically talk like this because that is the biggest lie, bullshit, absolute fuckery that you could honestly say about a stock. Specifically, AMC. There's no way that they can honestly prove their institutional ownership of 46%.
That means that you, as a retail share base, have not been holding your shares, that you've been selling them.
Or retail ownership is ownership institutions, custodialship on retail's behalf is that missing portion of the total retail ownership.
Doesn't matter. It's still saying they're placing the narrative on us that we sold. That we don't.
Well, they've been trying to do that entire time.
Oh, I know that, but I'm saying that they're saying right now with their 46 supposed percent, which is not true because you have Adam Aaron who has quoted, which is said on multiple occasions that the retail ownership is over 80%. That is different from 46% institutionally owned. Way different. So are they just trying to add more fuel to the fire to keep on buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and basically placing this in every crevice of the stock market, no matter what? Because that's what I'm seeing. You're adding more fuel to the fire. Ultimately. Because if you're cramming all this shit in one little cram hole, that's not going to fucking do you any justice later on down the road.
The only way I could explain it is that if they're counting the collateral shares to debt, they already sold the retail probably on them future deliveries, and they're counting that as, float ownership.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that can possibly explain.
But that doesn't even.
But then that's double dipping.
That is absolutely double dipping, and that's not a double dip you want to be a part of in any way. You can't be a part of that whatsoever.
We'll just call it basket robins.
You know what? For some odd reason, I love their bubblegum ice cream. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, whatever it was just good. I don't know why it was good, but it was just good. So, Matt, I have to do my dum-dum of the week regardless. I know that yours is important, and I want to hear yours. I just don't know how much time we're going to get with your...
Well, it was that whole BTC discussion.
Yeah, but as always, I have to play dum-dum of the week.
In the shadows of the city where the lost souls creep, I'm the king of the gutter. Watch me as I read. Yeah, this is my kingdom. Welcome to Dum Dum of the Week.
Oh, he's perfect! No, we are not doing this again! Not another one!
Wait, what's going on?
Eu amo dar espaço!
He has no idea, does he?
Not a single clue.
This is already a disaster.
I think I know what I'm doing.
So, what exactly makes you an expert?
I read a post.
That's it?
Yeah. It had a lot of likes.
Where did you do your research?
I did my research. On X.
Oh no. There it is. That's not research! That's not how this work works! He said X! He really said X!
It made sense to me. Confidence beats facts.
You really believe that?
Yeah, it feels right.
Oh, this is incredible. I can't do this.
So you're entire belief system comes from one post?
It had a lot of likes.
That's your evidence?
That's enough for me. That's unstoppable.
This is painful. You can't just believe everything you see.
He absolutely can, apparently.
You're also the best one.
You're overthinking. This is basic thinking.
No, let him cook. I want to see where this goes.
It's really not that complicated.
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. All right.
Here we go.
Trust me, bro.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
This guy again?
I actually know. Go on.
Oh, this is painful.
This guy is completely wrong.
I told you, I'm basically a genius.
Wow, that's actually impressive.
Stop talking.
And that's your dumb of the week.
Oh my god!
I can't do this anymore. In the shadows of the city.
Of the week. I love Dumb of the Week. It is, honestly, this is my favorite segment. I swear it is. And I have to read this quote by Hayden. I love it when you go ahead and you quote certain things because they're so truthful when you post them. I remember 90%, and I also remember 3.8 million and 3 million shareholders. Hayden, kudos to you. Matt, let's give it a swing and see what you get.
I don't know.
We're going to find out.
I'm getting a feedback on mine.
Okay. Well, if you want to be...
I can understand myself even though it's echoing back to me.
See, you shouldn't be echoing, but go on.
So it was the conversation about the BTCC, who's basically in breach of a court order and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, they're just digging a hole and burying themselves in legal issues. And they're just going to piss the judge off more with past episodes. They already pissed the judge off several times. He's going to lose it. Patience.
We're going to find out soon. It's only going to get better as we keep on going, to be perfectly honest with you.
Judgment Day is coming. Right?
No, it sure is, and it's not. And it does not look pretty in any way, shape, or form. I can tell you that much, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is, and we're going to do this fast, just because we got a report, and that report is just full of absolute juice. So my Dum is very familiar. He keeps on doing it, so I'm going to keep on reading it out until something happens. Because what he's trying to preach is nonsense, and what you guys are letting him do, because I don't know why, unless you're letting him hang himself by him being dumb, I guess. But Nachi, this was tweeted yesterday on June 2nd. I'll bet there were quite a lot of FTDs used on AMC today. Remember this day on the next report. Remember, FTDs are absolutely not free, and they couldn't even use enough for the high-speed hooker train to slow it down to seal the gap between $2.08 and $2.10. Okay, not every single FTD is a short. It's just not. Some are actual, they can't locate the shares, or some are, restrictions you have with the DTCC, or you don't know. But they're not a part of this conspiracy system with the hookers and trains that are going ahead and placing FTDs into our stock specifically when there's a gap up in price. That has nothing to do with why AMC gapped up. Not one iota. None. And I've explained this multiple times to everybody that has listened to my show, and I've specifically mentioned, here's what an FTD is, here's what happens, here's how it's displayed to the public, here's when it's reported, here's what it does. But he keeps on doing it, and I don't understand. I really don't. I know you guys. The guys that are here listening to my show, that watch my show, that understand that I'm going to basically give you the simplest breakdown of what each individual stock definition that there is, so that this way, A, you can remember it, B, you can teach it to somebody else that doesn't know, and you can correct when correction is needed. And that is important. Because from my eyes and what I see, and if this were me on your guys' end, it would piss me off a lot. Because to me, it makes me look like I'm dumb. And I'm just following whatever this person is saying. And not doing any research for myself. That's what it says to me. And you deserve more than that. You deserve to be on par with everything that I do, that Matt does, that everybody does. Because listen, we are not some just ultimate juggernaut that's going ahead and directing this entire movement. We're not. Yes, we may have louder voices, but every voice within our community is important, even from the smallest voice to the loudest one. All of you are important. Your knowledge is important. Your understanding is important. And listen, and from a community standpoint, and we dealt with this for a while, that a lot of people did go ahead and I wouldn't say make fun of, but did question a lot of the new people that were coming in just because they weren't as involved as we were from the beginning. And I totally understand that. And there's speculation that can be said within that. But always remember is that there's no such thing as a dumb question. Because someone just generally doesn't know. And they just want an answer. Or they want an understanding. And by doing that and giving that to somebody else, that's making not only you grow as a person, and the same thing with the younger ape, but now you just made our community stronger. Because that's something that newer ape is going to be able to point to and say, hey, this person really helped me out. He told me this is what I need to look at. This is what he told me that I needed to double check, triple check to make sure that he was right. And I expect the same from me, from any one of you. And I hope that you would. I really do. Because that shows me ultimately that you're learning. And a smart investor is the best investor. Period. No one can replace that statement. And what's really funny about that statement, Matt, is that was one of the things that I had said to my clients. And because I said that to my clients, that a smart investor is the best investor, that was the reason I was let go from that position. That's the crazy thing, because they only want their narrative, their script, and that's how it's supposed to be. And it's sad. Yeah. That's why there's clicks within your companies. That's why there's certain people that hang out with certain people within your organization. That's how it works. If you're not a part of that clique, or you think differently from that clique, let me tell you, you're in for a fun time of being the bitch that does all the work, because that's what they expect of you. But besides that, we have fun things to talk about now. A lot of fun things. So I have been going on an absolute, journey is the correct word. And I have literally gone through, and how this ultimately started was absolutely, and I will give credit where credit is due, to MMTLP. And it was because of the Trading Strategies email that said that they are not short, but they are on the hook for 2.5 million shares over the initial float, and stating that in an email. And after my program went ahead and actually mined through all the garbage, all the everything, it showed that it was a true email and that it was factual. So it got me thinking, okay, if that's factual, then why can't we use what this is to link anything towards AMC, GME, and some of the meme basket? Because this should be able to clarify a lot of things, and especially when I use the term mapping, that is a very important term. And it's also a very important thing that we are going to discuss today. Because what mapping overall shows is who's the guilty one, and who needs to really start answering some fucking questions, and not just from some schmuck on CNBC or some government official. They need to answer questions from you and me, because I sure as fuck would want my question heard, especially now.
That's why it's so important that the DTCC submits that clearing record for the court in the trustees discovery.
It's very crucial that they do that. They have to. If they don't do this, that is a direct indictment of what you're dealing with in the markets, and that is, everything is fake. Nothing is real. And it is not meant for retail. It is meant for institutions, and only institutions are allowed to play the game. That's not a free and fair market. Ever. So, we're going to get into a lot. So, buckle up, take notes, enjoy the show. But AMC, welcome to the free market funhouse, where the buy button vanished, the shorts got a microphone, and the plumbing suddenly needed a bailout. January 21 was not just a meme stock event. That cute little label is what Wall Street has used when it wants the public to stop asking adult questions. What really happened was a live stress test of the entire financial machine. And retail accidentally became the auditor. Nobody invited to the room. AMC GME did not simply move on up on the chart. They exposed the pipes behind the chart. Payment for order flow, internalized retail orders, short side narratives, NSCC, collateral demands, clearing risk, settlement delays, and the uncomfortable truth that the market is only liquid and orderly until the wrong side starts losing too much money. Retail was told the market was fair, modern, efficient, and totally under control. Then, almost overnight, the buy button disappeared. Funny how that works. The House Financial Services Memorandum on the January 21st meme stock event states that an opaque and outdated system for settling trades for several brokerages to restrict trading in GME, AMC, and other meme stocks, and that Robinhood's position closed only restriction created a market without buyers. The same memorandum says that Robinhood Securities received an automated notice at approximately 5:11 a.m. on January 28th, 2021, showing a deposit deficit of roughly $3 billion. And hours later, Robinhood restricted transactions in GME, AMC, and other volatile meme stock names. So let's slow that down for the people in the back. Retail was told it was participating in a free market. When buying pressure threatened the plumbing, the system did not become more transparent. It became more restrictive. But I thought the average retail investor, I know they thought they were buying a stock. That alone should have been enough to trigger a full forensic review of how retail orders, short exposure, clearing collateral, securities lending, options hedging, and settlement obligations collided. Instead, the public got the usual magic trick. Nothing to see here. Everything worked as designed. Well, if that was the design, then maybe the design is the crime scene, because the real market does not get to call itself fair. While one side can keep selling pressure alive, the other side gets throttled, and the official explanation hides behind settlement mechanics most people were never taught to understand, and the average retail investor thought they were buying a stock. Behind the curtain, the machine was calculating collateral, risk-free, unsettled trades, clearing deposits, order routing, and who had the most, or who had to post what by sunrise. Cute little casino. Except when retail wins, suddenly the house remembers it had plumbing problems? Oh my God. But January was only the opening act. The bigger picture now reaches far, far beyond one brokerage and one bad week. Andrew left. Securities fraud conviction gives the short side narrative machine a real world receipt. The SEC had already charged Left and Citron Capital with multi-year scheme, alleging they published false or misleading stock recommendations, watched targeted stock moves more than 12% on average, then quickly reversed positions to profit from the price movement. The SEC specifically alleged that Left brought back stock after telling readers to sell and sold stock after telling readers to buy. Current reporting now says that the U.S. jury found Left guilty of securities fraud. That does not prove every short seller is criminal. It proves something more important for this report. The short and distort playbook retail warned about is not some basement conspiracy theory. It is now part of the legal record. Public narratives can be weaponized. Fear can be monetized. And people screaming sell into a microphone may not be holding the same position they are selling to the public. So, now, add the synthetic exposure layer that Credit Suisse and Archegos showed how massive market exposure can be hidden through swaps and prime broker relationships instead of simple stock ownership. Well, in plain English, a swap can let someone gain the economic benefit of damaged of a stock position without holding the stock like a normal shareholder. That matters because public data only shows what the system chooses to report in public lanes. It does not fully reveal every swap basket, ETF hedge, securities lending chain, option structure, or counterparty exposure hiding behind a bank risk book. Then comes FTX and confirms the CM equities and FTX Europe entered a collateral agreement where CM equity customers and that Binance and CM equities entered a tokenized stock agreement where Binance purchased certain tokenized stocks from CM equities in normal person language. Stock-like exposure was being wrapped, tokenized, collateralized, disputed, and dragged through the bankruptcy courts. But sure, tell retail again how every share-like claim in the system is clean, backed, and perfectly accounted for. And I'm not done. Then we get to the Citadel Bridge. And this is where precision matters. This report is not going to claim what it cannot be proven. We are not going to say Citadel owned every pipe, controlled every platform, or personally pulled every lever. That's lazy. And lazy gets dismissed. What we can prove is function, proximity, and market position. Citadel Securities sat at the center of the retail order flow execution during the meme stock era. Citadel Securities publicly announced in January of 2022 that Sequoia and Paradigm made a $1.15 billion minority investment in the firm. Paradigm is not some random lemonade stand. It is a major crypto venture player. Citadel Securities itself described the investment as a minority investment in a leading global market maker. So the bridge is not Citadel owned FTX. The bridge is that between Wall Street, market making, crypto venture capital, tokenized stock securities, stablecoin rails, and collateral systems were a lot thinner than retail was ever told. And when those walls are thin, transparency becomes everything. That bridge brings us to Ken Griffin himself. Ken, the Mayo Griffin. And the question this report is going to press straight into the table. Ken, the Mayo Griffin, gave Congress a clean denial regarding Citadel Securities' role in Robinhood's decision to restrict trading. The public record needs to be tested against the broader machine, order flow, internal communications, NSCC collateral demands, clearing risk calculations, short sale narrative campaigns, securities lending, tokenized stock collateral, swaps, ETF baskets, options hedging, and who benefited when retail buying pressure was cut off. We are not going to make this sloppy. We are going to make it concrete. If the sworn testimony was complete, accurate, and fully consistent with the hidden records, then opening the book should clear the air. If the books do not match the story, then retail deserves the truth. Not another polished bedtime story from the same people who told us the market was fine while the buy button was being buried in the backyard. So, this report is not about chasing ghosts. It is about following receipts. January 21 showed clearing stress. Andrew Left shows short side narrative fraud can be real. Archegos showed synthetic exposure can hide in swaps. Credit Suisse shows banks can eat the blast when hidden exposure blows up. FTX and CM Equity showed tokenized stock exposure moved through collateral agreements. Paradigm shows the crypto venture lane crossed directly into Citadel Securities through a $1 billion minority investment. AMC and GME showed what happened when retail pressure hit a machine built to look fair from the outside and protect itself on the inside. The question now is simple. When the system says everything was legal, backed, settled, and honest, who proved it? Because this time, trust us is not evidence. It is the oldest trick in a free market funhouse. The absolutely not problem when the market's biggest pipe says it had nothing to do with the flood. They say absolutely not. We say show us the receipts, not the excuses. Hey, look at that. It's Andrew Left. Oh, hey, look at that. It's Credit Suisse. Oh, hey, look at that. Credit Suisse blasted. FTX, CM Equities, Binance, Robinhood. Oh, AMC and GameStop in the center of it. Oh, look at that. NSCC collateral demands. Oh, the truth. Oh, test it. Not my pipe. Ken Griffin. What a shock. Ken Griffin's testimony is not just a footnote in the AMC GME story. It is one of the central pressure points in the entire report, because it gives retail a clean statement to test against the surrounding record. During the February 18th, 2021 House Financial Services hearing, Griffin told Congress that Citadel Securities had no role in Robinhood's decision to limit trading in GameStop or any other meme stock, and said he first learned of Robinhood's trading restriction only after they were publicly announced. In that same testimony, he also reminded Congress that Citadel Securities was the largest market maker in the U.S. equities and executed more trades on behalf of retail investors than any other firm. Then he added, the number that matters. On January 27th, 2021, the day before the buy button disappeared, Citadel Securities executed 7.4 billion shares on behalf of retail investors. 7.4 billion shares. So let's translate that into normal human language. The largest retail market maker in the country, handling a giant chunk of retail order flow, executing billions of shares during the most chaotic retail trading event in modern market history, told Congress it had no role in the brokerage restriction decision that cut off buying pressure the very next morning. Okay, sure. Nothing to see here, folks. The biggest pipe in the house says it had nothing to do with the flood. Maybe water just got emotional. The sharpest moment came when Representative Juan Vargas pressed Griffin directly. Vargas asked whether anyone at Citadel Securities had contacted Robinhood since January 1st. Griffin did not deny routine contact. In fact, he admitted Citadel Securities was talking to Robinhood routinely in an orderly course of business because Citadel managed a substantial portion of Robinhood's order flow. Then Vargas narrowed the question. He asked whether Citadel talked to Robinhood about restricting or doing anything to prevent people from buying, not selling, but buying GameStop. Vargas then clarified, anybody in your organization? Griffin answered, let me be perfectly clear. Absolutely not. Vargas followed up, so if we deposed everyone in your organization, we'll find that. Griffin answered, that is correct. That is a statement we build around. Not gossip, not memes, not vibes. A sworn answer under congressional questioning on a specific issue of whether Citadel or anyone in its organization discussed restricting or preventing people from buying GameStop. That answer was not complicated. It was not, I do not recall. It was not, to the best of my knowledge. It was not, I would need to review the communications. It was absolutely not. And when asked whether depositions of everyone in the organization would confirm it, Griffin said, that is correct. Cute little confidence package, very polished, very billionaire under oath energy. But this report is not going to be sloppy. We are not going to scream perjury just because the statement feels suspicious. A court, Congress, or regulator would need to officially determine that he lied under oath before we present that as a proven legal conclusion. The distinction matters because Wall Street loves when retail overstates the case. They wait for one exaggerated line, point at it, and pretend the entire evidence trail disappears. Not today. The stronger and more dangerous framing is this. Ken Griffin gave Congress a clean denial, and that denial now deserves to be tested against the full market structure record. If the denial is true, the record should clear it. If the record are incomplete, hidden, redacted, or too narrow, then the public still does not have the answer. The House Republican memo later said that the committee investigation found no evidence or collusion between market maker and broker-dealer in January of 2021 trading restriction. That line matters, and we should include it because it shows we are not cherry picking, but no evidence found is not the same thing as every relevant lane was fully examined. The same memo also says the committee interviewed witnesses from Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Citigroup. Committees interviewed Citadel, DTCC, NSCC, NYSE, and FINRA and others, and obtained more than 90,000 pages of documents. It also confirms the basic setting. Robinhood was one of the brokerages favored by retail traders, relied on payment for order flow, and routed customer trades to market makers that were required to provide best execution. We can also add in there is that the new DTCC information also, which ultimately proves that this was a lie. And I'll say that right now, because that ultimately proves that this right here is an outright lie. Now here is where the average person needs to understand the machine. When you click buy on a brokerage app, your order does not magically float into a fairy tale exchange where a bald eagle wearing a referee shirt makes sure everything is clean. Your order may be routed to a market maker. That market maker executes the order. The broker receives payment for order flow. The clearinghouse calculates risk. Trades take time to settle. Collateral has to be posted, and the system keeps running as long as the risk math works. In January 21, the risk math stopped looking cute. Robinhood received an automatic notice around 5:11 a.m. showing the deposit deficient of about $3 billion, and hours later, restricted transactions in GME, AMC, and other volatile meme stocks. The same memo explains that customers could trade before deposits fully cleared, and that actual ownership transfers still settled through the hidden plumbing of the market. Funny how those things just come out. That is why Griffin's statements matter so much. The question is not just, hey, did someone at Citadel call Robinhood and say, turn off the buy button? That is the cartoon version, and Wall Street loves cartoon versions because they are easy to deny. Hold on for 2 seconds. So the Wall Street loves cartoon versions because they are easy to deny. The bigger question is whether the investigation fully examined every pressure channel that could influence the outcome without needing a cartoon villain phone call. Did order flow risk change? Did execution risk change? Did internal conversations between major market participants reveal concerns about buy pressure, option pressure, clearing exposure, or liquidity? Did anyone discuss limiting exposure, routing flow, changing risk settings, reducing acceptance, restricting symbols, or pushing pressure back onto brokers? Did communication exist around market maker obligations, PFOF relationships, capital requirements, NSCC deposits, or the consequence of continued buying in the meme basket? Those questions matter because modern markets do not always move by direct orders. They move through incentives. They risk limits, collateral demands, routing decisions, margin models, and quiet pressures from institutions that understand the plumbing better than the public ever will. And that is the exact problem with the phrase, no roll. What does roll mean in a market built on interdependence? If Citadel Securities handed massive retail order flow, paid brokers for order flow, executed billions of shares, and routine contact with Robinhood, and sat inside the execution lane during the event, then retail has every right to ask what no roll means beyond the narrowest possible legal interpretation. No role in the final button click decision, no role in discussions about risk, no role in communications with Robinhood, no role in the conditions that made the restriction inevitable, no role in order flow environment that helped create the clearing burden, no role in the broader market structure that rewarded internalization while the public believed they were in a clean, open market. And see, that is where the word games begin. Wall Street loves word games. They call it precision when they use it. They call it conspiracy when retail asks for the dictionary. And to be fair, the official memo says the investigation did not find evidence of collusion. Fine. Put that in the report. But then put the rest of the record beside it. Robinhood's own testimony said the restrictions were tied to the increased regulatory deposit requirements, not hedge fund pressure. Then Tenney said Robinhood raised more than $3 billion to cushion itself against increased collateral requirements and market stress in the future. The congressional transcript also shows Taney arguing that the 2-day settlement period exposes investors and the industry to unnecessary risk, and he called for real-time settlement. So even if the restriction was not caused by an illegal backroom call, the official record still admits the market plumbing was fragile enough that the collateral requirements and settlement delays could cut off retail buying. That is not a clean bill of health. That is building inspectors saying, good news, nobody committed arson. Bad news, look both ways. The wiring catches on fire when too many people turn on the lights. This is why Griffin's testimony should not be treated as the end of the story. It should be treated as the starting line for a deeper review. If Citadel Securities truly had no role, then the full record should make that obvious. Release the relevant communications. Release the routing records. Release order flow dependency analysis, release NSCC collateral timelines, release communications between Robinhood, Citadel Securities, market maker, clearing firms, and regulators for the critical window. Release the material risk discussions around AMC, GME, and the broader meme basket. Release the full context of what was discussed before, during, and after the decision to restrict buying. Not summaries, not curated quotes, not trust us bro with a law degree. The actual record. Because the public record already gives retail enough reason to demand more. Griffin admitted routine contact with Robinhood in ordinary course of business because Citadel managed a substantial portion of its order flow. He denied any discussion about restricting or preventing buying. The House memo says no collusion evidence was found. The same broader record shows Robinhood restrictions followed a massive NSCC deposit deficient, that AMC and GME were among the restricted symbols, and that the system's hidden plumbing created risk most retail investors never saw. The combination does not prove perjury, but it absolutely proves the question is alive. So, the concrete framing is this. Ken Griffin's sworn denial must be tested, not worshipped. The issue is not whether retail can win a shouting match on Twitter. The issue is whether Congress, regulators, and the public received the full story about the market's most powerful retail execution pipe during the exact moment retail buying pressure was restricted. If the sworn testimony was complete and accurate, the record should confirm it. If the records were too narrow, too redacted, too protected, or never demanded in the right categories, then no evidence of collusion becomes less of an answer and more of a reminder that the investigation may have stopped at the front door of a much bigger machine. That is the sworn testimony problem. One man said absolutely not. One memo said investigators found no evidence of collusion, but the market structure around that answer was packed with routine contact, payment for order flow, massive retail execution volume, settlement delays, clearing collateral pressure, and a buy button that vanished right when retail pressure mattered most. The next section followed the machine beyond testimony and into the waters of short-side ecosystem, where public narratives, hidden incentives, synthetic exposure, and collateral stress start looking a lot less like isolated accidents and a lot more like the operating system retail was never supposed to understand. Short seller megaphone. I have a megaphone, I think. Megaphone! Short seller megaphone department, where research talks, the stock drops, and the trade already left the building. I'm really researching. I got my banana. It's right there. Analyzing that. Trade already left. Oh my God. Deep research reports. No positive data. Cherry picked. Outdated. Confirmed bias. Price target 1 cent. Laugh out loud. Andrew left matters. And you will understand after I'm done with this why it matters a lot in regards to what we're talking about. It matters because he turns one of the retail's biggest complaints into something prosecutors, regulators, and now a jury had to take seriously. For years, retail investors were told the short side narrative machine was just research, just opinion, just market commentary. Just brilliant Wall Street watchdogs protecting the public from bad companies. Cute story. Very noble. Very, I'm here to save retail while quietly trading around the panic I just created. Then the Andrew Left case came. And it blew a hole through that bedtime story. The SEC charged Left and Citron Capital with a $20 million multi-year fraud scheme, alleging they published false and misleading statements about the supposed trading recommendations while secretly trading in ways that contradicted what they told the public. In one SEC example, Left allegedly told the market he would stay long on a target stock until it reached $65, but actually began selling at $28. That is not diamond hands. That is tell the crowd one thing, hit the exit, and let the crowd eat the smoke. But sure, Let's keep pretending retail was crazy for asking who was talking, who was trading, and who was benefiting. This is the narrative bridge becoming concrete. Andrew Left was not some anonymous account yelling into the void. He was one of the most visible short seller in modern markets, the face of Citron Research, and one of the loudest public voices during the meme stock era. His brand was built on market moving calls, public reports, social media pressure, and media attention. That matters because the meme stock war was never only about shares. It was about price. Yes. It was about shorts. Yes. It was about options, settlement, clearing, collateral, and liquidity. Absolutely. But it was also about narrative control. Who gets to tell the public what a company is worth? Who gets invited on television? And who gets quoted as an expert? Who can yell overvalued, worthless, going to zero, or sell now, while the public has no clean way to see the speaker's real-time trading book? That is the dirty part. In markets where sentiment can move price, a loud enough short side voice is not just commentary. It could become a weapon. Now, current reporting says that U.S. jury found Andrew Left guilty of securities fraud in the case focused on deceptive tweet and trade conduct. Reuters reported that the U.S. jury found Left guilty of securities fraud, citing Business Insider reports. Business Insider reported the jury convicted Left on 12 of 16 related charges, describing the case is centered on a deceptive tweet and trade scheme where prosecutors argued he misled investors with public commentary while privately trading at different prices than he recommended. The Wall Street Journal reported that Left was convicted for manipulating stock prices through misleading social media statements to benefit his own trades, and that prosecutors presented evidence showing he frequently made the public predictions and then secretly exited positions shortly after. That does not mean that every short seller is a criminal. It does not mean that every bearish report is fraud. It does not mean criticism of a public company should be illegal. That is not the point. The point is much simpler and much more dangerous. The short and distort model is real enough to get charged, tried, and convicted. And once the truth is on the table, then the AMC and GME conversation changes. Retail was mocked for saying public narratives were being used as pressure tools. Retail was mocked for saying sentiment campaigns were coordinated with trading incentives. Retail was mocked for asking whether some loud public voices were not just researchers, but market participants using attention as a weapon. I'm going to read that one again because that is one of the most important, especially if you are on X and you have witnessed a bunch of these people colluding in the same space at the same time and never letting people talk over them. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Voices were not just researchers, but market participants using attention as a weapon. Now we have a legal example showing that the model can happen. make a public statement, move sentiment, create price pressure, trade around the restriction, and leave everyone else trying to understand why the chart suddenly got stabbed in the ribs. That is the model retail complained about, not as a theory, not as a meme, as a market behavior now supported by SEC allegations and reported jury convictions. For the average person, think of it like this. Imagine someone walks into a crowded theater and loudly announces the building is unsafe, everyone should run. People panic and rush for the exits. Then you later find out the person making the announcement had already placed a bet that the theater's value would collapse, and while everyone else was panicking, he quietly cashed out his bet. That is the kind of behavior regulators accused in the left case. Public statements that could move price, public trading that did not match the public message, and profit taken from the confusion. I'm going to take 1 second. You guys should read that sentence again, because this happens all the damn fucking time. Honestly, it does. And if anybody that I know specifically, that I have argued with specifically, can say different, now prove it. Because I know you can't. In the stock market, the theater is the ticker. The crowd is retail. The exit doors are sell orders. And the guy with the microphone is not always the neutral expert CNBC wants you to believe he is. This matters even more because the meme stock names were already under extreme structural pressure. AMC and GME were not trading in a calm little pond. They were trading inside a storm of short interest, option activity, media attacks, internalized order flow, clearing collateral pressure, and settlement delays. The House Financial Services memo on January 21 says an opaque and outdated system for settling trades forced several brokerages to restrict trading in GME, AMC, and other meme stocks, and that Robinhood's position closing only decision created a market without buyers. It also says that Robinhood received the automated notice showing the deposit deficient of approximately $3 billion before restricting transactions in GME and AMC and other volatile meme stocks. So, when a stock is already sitting inside a fragile system, public narrative pressure is not just noise. It can become another level in the machine. If one side can pressure sentiment while the plumbing is already under collateral stress, retail deserves to know who is speaking, who is short, who is hedged, who is paying, who is trading, and who benefits when panic spreads. This is also why the Andrew Left section cannot be treated like a side story. It is not a detour. It is proof of concept for narrative abuse. AMC and GME investors have spent years hearing that all negative commentary was just honest analysis. Maybe some of it was, but after Left, nobody gets to pretend the possibility of deceptive short side commentary is ridiculous. The SEC alleged Left and Citron falsely represented the trading intentions, including allegedly telling the market they would hold positions while actually trading out. The DOJ charged Left with a long-running market manipulation scheme that allegedly generated at least $16 million in profits and included securities fraud charges and false statement charges. So the question becomes fair. During the meme stock era, how many public narratives were honest research and how many were part of trading strategy? How many bearish campaigns were designed to inform and how many designed to move price? How many voices were independent and how many undisclosed financial relationships, compensation arrangements, training incentives, and fraud connections behind the curtain? Now we have to be precise because precision is what keeps this report dangerous. Andrew Left's conviction does not prove Citadel committed fraud. It does not prove Citadel and Left coordinated. It does not prove every bearish AMC or GME article was fraudulent. It does not prove every short seller lied. That would be sloppy, and sloppy gets dismissed. The concrete point is this. The government's case against Left proves the short side public commentary can be part of a fraudulent trading scheme. That makes every major anti-meme stock narrative campaign worthy of a deeper review, especially when those narratives occurred alongside order flow concentration, clearing pressure, trading restrictions, FTD concerns, option pressure, ETF mechanics, securities lending, and synthetic exposure that retail could not see in real time. That is where this ties back to Citadel without overreaching. Citadel Securities sits in the market structure lane. Retail order flow, execution, internalization, payment for order flow, market making. Andrew Left sits in the narrative pressure lane. Public commentary, short calls, settlement movement, trading around public sentiment. FTX and CM equities sit in the tokenized stock collateral lane. Archegos and Credit Suisse sit in the synthetic swap and prime broker risk lanes. AMC and GME sit in the clearing stress lane. These lanes do not need to be proven as one command chain for the transparency problem to be real. The issue is that all of these lanes can affect price, liquidity, collateral, and public perception, while retail only sees a ticker and a headline. Wall Street sees the pipes. Retail sees the water damage. That is why the Left case hits so hard. It exposes the arrogance of just trust the professional crowd. Retail was told the market was too sophisticated for us to understand. Then one of the professionals gets convicted of a case alleging he used public market commentary as part of the deceptive trading strategy. Retail was told public short attacks were healthy skepticism. The regulators alleged false and misleading statements, hidden trading intentions, and millions in profit. Retail was told asking questions was dangerous conspiracy thinking. Then the legal system showed that the exact kind of narrative abuse retail warned about could be real. Amazing. Just fucking amazing how conspiracy theory becomes securities fraud once the government puts a case number on it. So the show line is simple and clean. Andrew Left is not the whole story. He is the receipts that proves the model exists. He proves that the loud public voice can move market sentiment, while private trading tells a different story. He proves retail was right to question public narrative, and that seemed designed to scare investors out of positions. He proves... sorry. Of course, this thing just goes where it wants. He proves that the lines between research and manipulation is not imaginary. And most importantly, he proves that when powerful market voices speak, the public has the right to ask what is behind the microphone. The strongest way to say it is this. Andrew Left's conviction does not prove Citadel committed fraud. It proves the short and distort playbook is real enough for a jury. It proves retail was not crazy for questioning who was proving narratives, who was trading behind those narratives, and who had undisclosed incentives and who benefited when retail pressure was cut off. Because once we know public commentary can be weaponized, we cannot look at AMC and GME hit pieces the same way again. We cannot pretend that narrative pressure is separate from market structure. We cannot present order flow, collateral stress, media campaigns, short exposure, and trading restrictions lived in separate universes. They all touched the same battlefield. And that is where the next section goes. If Andrew Left shows how the story can be weaponized, the next section is what the machine does with the story once it hits the market. Because price does not move only from headlines. Price moves through order flow, market makers, clearing deposits, swaps, tokenized exposure, collateral models, and all the hidden pipes retail was never supposed to see. Andrew Left gives us the megaphone. The next section follows where the sound traveled. Citadel? Not the owner? Just the plumbing problem? Funny how every road somehow runs through the same toll booth. Citadel's strongest public bridge is not that it owned every company, controlled every crypto exchange, or personally, stamped every tokenized AMC or GME product with a little Ken Griffin logo. That would be too easy to attack, and this report is not built on easy to attack claims. The stronger bridge is positioned inside the machine. Citadel Securities did not need to own every pipe in the financial system to sit in one of the most important places in the whole structure. The retail order flow lane. That is where the average investors buy and sell orders enter the machine. That is where payment for order flow lives. That is where internalized execution lives. That is where market makers see enormous flow, price pressures, liquidity demands, and risk before the public understands what just happened. In normal person language, Citadel Securities was not just standing outside the casino watching the doors. It was helping process the chips. During the February 2021 GameStop hearing, Ken Griffin told Congress that on January 27, Citadel Securities executed 7.4 billion shares on behalf of retail investors. He said that was more shares for retail investors than the entire average daily volume of the U.S. equities market in 2019. That number should stop everyone cold. Retail was not sending a few cute little orders into the void. Retail flow was massive, and Citadel Securities was not some background extra. It was one of the largest market-making engine processing that flow during the most volatile retail trading event in modern market history. So when Wall Street tells retail to stop asking questions about who saw what, who routed what, who internalized what, and who hedged what, and who benefited from what, the answer should be simple: no. You do not get to process billions of shares in a historic market event and then act like the public is rude for asking how the machine worked. Now, let's explain this for the average person. When you hit buy on your brokerage app, your order does not always go straight to a public exchange, like some clean little democracy parade. Your broker may route that order to a market maker. The market maker fills the order, often internally, and the broker may receive payment for order flow. The market maker is supposed to provide execution quality and price improvement. And yes, the system has rules, but the point is not whether the structure is automatically illegal. The point is that the structure creates a visibility gap. Retail sees a button. The market maker sees flow. Retail sees a ticker. The market maker sees buy pressure. Buy pressure, imbalance, volatility, hedging needs, and inventory risk. Retail sees your order was filled. The system sees collateral, settlement timing, netting, routing, clearing, liquidity, and who is exposed if the wrong side keeps buying. That mattered. It still matters today, but that mattered because January 21st showed the plumbing was not just theoretical. The House memo says that the settlement process required brokerages like Robinhood to post daily collateral that at approximately 5:11 a.m. Eastern on January 28th of 21, Robinhood Securities received an automated notice stating it had deposit deficient of approximately $3 billion. Hours later, Robinhood restricted trading in GME and AMC and other volatile meme stocks. The memo also says customers could trade before deposits fully cleared, and that actual transfer of ownership still settled through the hidden plumbing of investment industry. So while retail thought it was simply buying stock, the system behind the scenes was calculating whether the broker could survive the collateral requirements. That is not a small little detail. That is the whole trap door under the stage. This is where Citadel's bridge becomes important. The bridge is not Citadel-owned Robinhood. The bridge is not Citadel-owned FTX. The bridge is not Citadel personally created every synthetic exposure. The bridge is that Citadel Securities sat in the retail execution lane during the same era when the market was being forced to confront order flow concentration, clearing stress, settlement delays, and retail buying power. Citadel's public testimony tells us it handled a staggering amount of retail flow. The House memo tells us Robinhood relied on payment for order flow as part of its zero commission model and routed customer trades to market makers required to provide best execution. That is the concrete bridge. Order flow, execution, internalization, and market making power. Not ownership, function. Then comes the second bridge, which is crypto venture proximity. In January of 2022, Citadel Securities publicly announced that Sequoia and Paradigm made a $1.15 billion minority investment in the firm. Citadel Securities described itself in that announcement as the leading global market maker, and said Sequoia led the round with Paradigm also participating. Paradigm publicly describes itself as a frontier technology investment firm that builds and invests across crypto, AI, robotics, and other new frontiers. That does not prove Citadel controlled FTX. That does not prove Citadel controlled CM Equities. That does not prove Citadel controlled Circle. But it does show a clean, public, billion-dollar proximity between one of the biggest market makers in U.S. retail execution and major crypto venture firm during the same period. Tokenized stocks, stablecoins, crypto collateral, and synthetic stock-like products became part of the broader transparency question. Funny how the traditional finance wall and the crypto finance wall suddenly have very expensive connecting doors. This is why the wording has to be sharp. We do not say Citadel owned FTX. We say Citadel Securities sat in the retail order flow lane and later brought in a major crypto venture investor, while tokenized stocks and stablecoins rails were becoming central in the transparency question. That is factual. That is defensible. That is the kind of sentence that does not need fireworks because the structure itself is already loud. Citadel was the market making and execution giant. Paradigm was the crypto venture bridge. The question is not whether this proves one master conspiracy. The question is why the public was told these words were separate, while the capital, technology, incentives, and collateral systems. That is not a crazy question. It is an obvious question. And now we add the statement that turns this from a theory into a custody challenge. Brett Harrison, former president of FTX US, publicly stated in an interview that FTX tokenized stocks were backed 1-for-1 with real shares. Unusual Whales also reported that Sam Bankman-Fried had represented that tokenized shares of AMC and GME were backed 1-for-1. That matters because the claim was not complicated. It was not kind of backed. It was not economically referenced. It was not synthetically similar. The representation was simple. One token, one real share backing it. So fine. If they said 1-for-1, then show 1-for-1. Show the custodian. Show the real share. Show the ticker list. Show the daily share counts. Show the redemption records. Show the collateral schedules. Show the records proving whether tokenized AMC, Ape, or GME products were ever pledged, rehypothecated, accepted as margin, used as swap exposure, or treated as synthetic stock-like collateral anywhere in the broader system. Because this is where FTX tokenized stock issue stops becoming theoretical. If customers were told these products were backed by real shares, then the bankruptcy record should be tested against that representation. The public deserves the custody trail, not a tweet, not a press release, not a customer-facing promise, an actual record. And this is why Harrison's statements matter. Harrison does not prove Citadel controlled FTX, but Harrison does hold on. I hate when it does that. There it is. This is why Harrison's statements matter. Harrison, I don't know why he keeps on rolling like that. This is why Harrison does not prove Citadel control FTX, but Harrison does connect Citadel Securities market structure world to FTX's tokenized stock world. He came from Citadel Securities, then became president of FTX US during the same era that tokenized stocks, stablecoin collateral, crypto market making, meme stock pressure, and custody questions were all colliding. That is the bridge. Citadel Securities sat in the retail order flow lane. Brett Harrison moved from Citadel Securities into FTX US. FTX leadership represented tokenized stocks as backed 1-for-1. FTX bankruptcy records later confirmed tokenized stock collateral agreements involving CM Equities, FTX Europe, and Binance. Paradigm, a major crypto venture firm, later became a minority investor in Citadel Securities. Again, that does not prove Citadel created AMC tokens. That does not prove Citadel controlled FTX. That does not prove tokenized AMC was used as a locate by itself. But it absolutely proves the walls between traditional market making, crypto venture capital, tokenized stock products, stablecoin rails, and collateral agreements were far thinner than retail was ever told. And that is where that is the transparency problem. If you sell stock-like exposure, the next question is simple. Where's the backing? Who is the custodian? Where are the shares? Where are the redemption records? Where are the collateral records? Who used the exposure? Who accepted it? Who financed it? Who touched it? Amazing how the market can create layers of stock-like exposure, but the moment retail asks for the custody trail, suddenly everybody needs a legal department and a fog machine. And specifically what MMTLP proved today, that statement is more liable than anything else. They said 1-for-1, then show 1-for-1. This is the part that matters most for AMC and GME. The tokenized stock issue does not need to prove by itself that Citadel caused naked shorts. That is not the correct frame. The correct frame is that stock exposure can now be separated into multiple lanes. Real shares, borrowed shares, short positions, option swaps, ETF baskets, internalized flow, tokenized claims, stablecoin collateral, and off-platform financing. The public sees the ticker. The institution sees the pipes. Retail sees AMC or GME moved on a screen. The system may be seeing order flow imbalance, market maker inventory option hedging, securities lending pressure, FTDs, clearing deposits, tokenized exposure, crypto collateral, and derivative risk. Then when something breaks, the public gets told, relax. Everything's settled. Settled where? Backed by what? With whose collateral? Through which agreement? Under whose custody? And why does every answer come wrapped in 3 intermediaries and a sealed exhibit? That is why Citadel's position inside the machine matters. It is a dominant retail market maker, handles enormous order flows. That firm is not just another market participant. It has visibility. It has data. It has execution power. It has risk models. It has hedging decisions. It sits close to the pressure. Now add a major crypto venture investor into the market maker's capital structure after the meme stock event, while tokenized stock collateral agreements are later exposed through FTX bankruptcy, and the transparency question becomes unavoidable. Again, not Citadel owned all of it. The stronger line is this. The same era that exposed retail order flow, concentration, and also exposed crypto side stock-like exposure and collateralized tokenized stock structures. The public has not been given the full map of how those systems touched, overlapped, or influenced risk. That matters because markets do not require one villain holding every string to create unfair outcomes. Sometimes the machine produces the unfair outcome because every lane protects itself. The broker protects its collateral. The market maker protects its inventory. The clearinghouse protects systemic risk. The hedge fund protects its short book. The bank protects its swap exposure. The crypto platform protects its collateral trail. And the custodian protects its legal wording. The regulator protects confidence, and retail gets a press release and a lesson about volatility. Very educational. Thank you, Professor Gaslight. So the clean show line is this. Citadel was the order flow giant. Paradigm was the crypto venture bridge. Brett Harrison was the personal bridge from Citadel market structure world into FTX US. CM Equities was the tokenized stock broker dealer bridge. FTX and Binance were the tokenized stock collateral bridge. That does not prove one command chain. It proves the walls between Wall Street market making and crypto collateral were far thinner than retail was told. That sentence is the key because it does not overstate ownership. It proves proximity, function, migration, custody claims, and overlap. It says the quiet part in a way they cannot easily swat away. And once you understand that bridge, the next question writes itself. If Citadel Securities handled enormous retail flow, if Robinhood faced a $3 billion NSCC deposit deficient before restricting meme stock buying, if tokenized stocks collateral agreements existed through CM Equities, FTX Europe, and Binance, if FTX leadership represented tokenized stocks as backed 1-for-1 with real shares and if major crypto venture capital later entered Citadel Securities through Paradigm's minority investment, then what exactly did regulators examine? Did they examine only the narrow phone call theory, or did they examine the full ecosystem, order flow, internalization, clearing collateral, tokenized stock collateral, stablecoin rails, swaps, ETFs, option hedging, custodial records, redemption records, and securities lending? Because if the investigation only asked whether someone called someone and said, hey, turn off the buy button, it may have missed the more important truth. Modern markets do not need a cartoon phone call when the plumbing itself can apply the pressure. That is the bridge to the next section. Citadel gives us the order flow pipe. Paradigm gives us the crypto venture doorway. Brett Harrison gives us the personal bridge into FTX US and the one-for-one custody representation. CM Equities, FTX, and Binance give us the tokenized stock collateral paper trail. But tokenized stocks are only one version of synthetic exposure. The next layer goes deeper into the machinery that Wall Street has used for years. Swaps, prime broker books, hidden leverage, and the Credit Suisse Archegos disaster that proves synthetic exposure can sit quietly in a system until collateral failure turns the light on. Joker Ape investigates the synthetic exposure bridge, where Wall Street sells you smoke, calls it liquidity, and acts shocked when retail asks where the fire started. This is where the whole thing becomes concrete. This is the section where the report stops looking like separate events and starts looking like one operating system with different costumes. Archegos, Credit Suisse, FTX, CM Equities, AMC, GME, Robinhood, NSCC, Citadel, swaps, tokenized stocks, collateral, and clearing stress are not the same story, but they all expose the same culture. Exposure can create faster than backing can be proven. Risk can be hidden behind intermediaries. And when the machine breaks, retail is handed a cute little explanation called market volatility. Very professional, very polished, very please do not look behind the curtain while the curtain is actively on fire. The Archegos documents show that the synthetic exposure trick in plain English, the swap structure showed a counterparty to gain synthetic exposure to the price movement of a security, while the contract language also stated that neither party acquired the ordinary rights connected to actual owning the security. No rights to vote it, no right to receive it, no obligation to hold it, no ordinary ownership trail. That is the point. A swap can give someone an economic gain or loss of a stock position without making them look like a normal shareholder in the public record. And for the average person, think of it like this. You're betting on a house without being listed on the deed. You can make money if the house rises in value or lose money if the house falls. But your name is not on the mailbox. That is the synthetic exposure. Now apply that to the stock market. Public data may show one version of the reality, while the real economic pressure sits somewhere else. Inside swap books, prime broker accounts, ETF baskets, securities lending chains, option structures, collateral agreements, or crypto wrappers. That is not conspiracy. That is modern finance with a fog machine and a legal department. Credit Suisse proved what happened when hidden synthetic exposure stops behaving. The Credit Suisse board report said the bank lost approximately $5.5 billion after the Archegos defaulted in March of 21, and that the review involved more than 80 interviews and more than 10 million Credit Suisse documents. That is not Reddit theory. That is a global bank eating a multi-billion-dollar blast because prime brokerages, derivatives, leverage, margin, and risk controls, failed in real life. FINMA later said that Credit Suisse's own position tied to Archegos was $24 billion in March of 21, more than half of Credit Suisse's group equity, and that the bank was not able to adequately manage the risk. Let that sit for a second. More than half of the equity of one of the world's major banks was tied to one relationship, and the public did not see the full danger until the margin event cracked the mask. And that's why Archegos and Credit Suisse matter to AMC and GME. Not because Archegos is the AMC smoking gun by itself. That would be sloppy. And sloppy gets dismissed. The real point is stronger. Archegos proved hidden synthetic exposure can sit inside banks and prime broker systems until collateral stress exposed it. Credit Suisse proves a major bank can absorb the blast when the synthetic exposure fails. So when retail asks whether public short interest FTD data, ownership records, and reported positions show the whole AMC and GME picture, the correct answer is not shut up and trust the data. The correct answer is what data? Public data? Swap data? Prime broker data? ETF basket data? Securities lending data? Option exposure? Tokenized collateral? Because if the risk can live outside the public lane, then the public lane was never a full map. Now bring that lesson into January of 21. And the House Financial Service Memo says customers could trade before deposits fully cleared, while actual ownership transfers still moved through hidden plumbing or of the investment industry. The same memo says that Robinhood Securities received an automated notice of at about 5:11 a.m. Eastern on January 28th of 21, showing a deposit deficit of roughly $3 billion, and that Robinhood later restricted transactions in GME, AMC, and other volatile meme stock names. So retail did not imagine system stress. Congress documented settlement delays, collateral pressure, restricted symbols, and hidden plumbing. Retail clicked buy behind the curtain, and the machine was asking whether the broker could survive the collateral bill by sunrise. Cute little free market works great until the wrong side starts losing. That is the first bridge. Archegos shows hidden synthetic exposure can blow up at a bank. AMC and GME show pressure could hit clearing collateral hard enough to force restrictions. The official story wants to keep those lanes separate because separate lanes are easier to dismiss. But the smarter question is whether Congress looked only at the visible buy button event while missing the deeper synthetic exposure network around swaps, tokenized stocks, stablecoins, ETF baskets, options hedging, securities lending locates, and collateral chains. If the investigation only asked, did someone call Robinhood and say, turn off buying, then it may have missed the larger machine. Modern markets do not need a cartoon villain phone call when the plumbing itself can apply the pressure. This is where FTX enters the section, because FTX gives us the crypto version of the same problem. Stock-like exposure wrapped in different instruments marketed to customers tied to collateral agreements and then dragged through bankruptcy court when the whole thing collapsed. The FTX bankruptcy filing confirms that CM Equities and FTX Europe entered a collateral agreement where CM Equities made payments to FTX Europe to collateralize tokenized stock trading of CM Equity customers. The same records confirm that Binance and CM Equities entered into a tokenized stock agreement where Binance purchased certain tokenized stocks from CM Equities, and that a $65 million dispute later arose tied to collateral transferred under that agreement. CM Equities also filed a $65 million proof of claim against FTX Europe. That is not internet noise. That is a bankruptcy court paper. Now add the statement that turns this from crypto curiosity into a direct custody challenge. And that's the Brett Harrison, former president of FTX US, publicly stated in an interview that FTX tokenized stocks were backed 1-to-1 with real shares. Unusual Whales also reported that Sam Bankman-Fried had represented that tokenized shares of AMC GME were backed 1-for-1. That matters because the promise was not complicitated. It was not sort of backed. It was not economically referenced. It was not synthetically similar. It was sold to the public as simple. One token, one share, backing it. Fine, then show it. Show the custodian, show the real share, show the daily share counts, show the ticker list, show the redemption trail, show the collateral schedule, show whether tokenized AMC, Ape, or GME products were ever pledged, rehypothecated, accepted as margin, used in swap exposure, or treated as synthetic stock-like collateral anywhere in the broader system. They said 1-for-1, then show 1-for-1. And for the average person, here's the clean version. A real share is like a car title. A tokenized share is like someone handing you a casino chip and saying, don't worry, there is a real car titled to the back room backing this chip. Fine. Then the casino collapses and the customers ask to see the title. Suddenly, everybody starts talking about affiliates, custodians, collateral agreements, arbitration, bankruptcy claims, tokenized stock agreements, and settlement conditions. That is the problem. If the chip was backed by a title, show the title. If the token was backed by the share, show the share. If AMC, Ape, and GME tokens were backed 1-for-1, the record should be easy to produce. If they are not easy to produce, then retail was sold stock-like exposure without clean public proof of backing. This does not prove by itself that tokenized AMC or tokenized GME was used as naked short locates. It does not prove by itself that FTX, I don't know why it does that, and it keeps on doing it. FTX tokens cause price suppression. It does not prove Citadel controlled FTX. Precision matters because Wall Street waits for the one sloppy sentence so it can throw the whole report in the conspiracy trash bin. Not today. Not today. The stronger point is that FTX proves stock-like exposure could be created, sold, collateralized, disputed, and dragged through bankruptcy without the public having a clean custody trail. That is the same culture we see in swaps: exposure first, backing later, claim first, reconciliation later, customer facing confidence first, real records only after building is already burning. The BIS report adds a wider warning because it shows the global financial system already knows hidden obligations can become enormous when they sit off balance sheets. BIS wrote that FX swaps, forwards, currency swaps created $4 payment obligations that do not appear on balance sheets and are missing from standard debt statistics. BIS describes more than $80 trillion in outstanding obligations to pay U.S. dollars through FX swaps, forwards, currency swaps, mostly very short term. Now FX swaps are not AMC swaps. We are not pretending they are the same instrument, but the culture point matters. Regulators already admit massive obligations can live in blind spots outside ordinary balance sheets visibly and becomes dangerous when funding stress hits. So when retail says public data does not show the full systemic or synthetic exposure picture, that is not ignorance. That is exactly how modern finance works when the invisible stuff becomes too big to ignore. Now bring that back to AMC and GME. The SEC's own GameStop report found that GME's short interest reached 122.97% of float in January of 21, while AMC's was listed at 11.4% in that same comparison. That does not prove every short was illegal. It does prove the official system recorded extreme short exposure in GME, and it proves meme stock pressure was real enough for regulators to study market structure after the event. AMC then showed its own pressure through broker restrictions, June 21's volatility, FTD concerns, reg show questions, options activity, clearing stresses, and retail buying power. That did not vanish just because Wall Street wanted the story to end in January. The question is not whether every single exposure was criminal. The question is whether public short interest data shows the whole picture or only the visible layers. That is why Citadel belongs at the center of the reopening question. Not because this section proves Citadel owned FTX, controlled CM equities, created every tokenized AMC product, or personally directed every short side narrative. That is not the claim. The claim is stronger because it is harder to dismiss. Citadel Securities sat inside the retail order flow lane during the exact period when AMC and GME exposed clearing stresses, settlement delays, internalization risk, option pressure, and retail buying power. Ken Griffin's sworn denial focuses on whether Citadel had a role in Robinhood's decision to restrict trading. Fine. Then test the denial against the full machine, not the cartoon phone call version of the story, because the machine did not stop at Robinhood. The machine included other routing, payment for order flow, market maker inventory, clearing deposits, settlement timing, securities lending, ETF baskets, option hedging, short side narratives, swap exposure, tokenized stock collateral, stablecoin rails, and custody claims. If Citadel Securities was dominant retail market making pipe, then the proper question is not simply, did Citadel directly tell Robinhood to turn off the buying? The proper question is, what did Citadel see? What did Citadel route? What did Citadel internalize? What did Citadel hedge? What did Citadel communicate? What did Citadel risk manage? And what did Citadel benefit from when buying pressure was cut off? That is the reopening standard. Opening the communication, open the routing records, open the execution data, open the market maker risk discussions, open the internal AMC GME meme basket exposure analysis, open the NSCC collateral timeline, open the securities lending record, open the ETF basket exposure, open the options hedging record, open the swap exposure, open the custody records, open any record showing whether tokenized AMC, Ape, or GME product were used as collateral, margin support, synthetic exposure, or locate support. If Citadel had no meaningful role behind ordinary market making, then the records should clear Citadel. If the records do not clear Citadel, then retail deserves the truth. But nobody should be asked to accept absolutely not as a final answer, while the full market structure record remains hidden behind sealed exhibits, narrow investigations, redaction, and legal word games. The print is not accuse blindly. The point is reopen intelligently. Citadel is the institution that must be tested because Citadel sat closest to the retail flow. Citadel had the visibility. Citadel had the execution roles. Citadel had the market making risk. Citadel had the relationship with Robinhood. Citadel had the congressional denial. And later, Citadel Securities had a direct $1 billion bridge to crypto venture capital through Paradigm, while FTX, CM Equities, Binance, and tokenized stock collateral agreements exposed how stock-like exposure could move through crypto rails. That is enough to demand a deeper review. Not ownership, not guessing, not conspiracy cosplay, function, proximity, incentive, visibility, and the records. That is why this report points back to Citadel. So the argument is simple and strong. Retail did not imagine system stress. Congress documented the collateral stress. Credit Suisse documented the bank losses. FINMA documented the scale of Archegos exposure. BIS documented the global blind spot of off-balance sheet obligations. FTX bankruptcy records documented tokenized stock collateral agreements. Brett Harrison's one-to-one statement created a direct custody challenge. The SEC documented extreme GME short interest. Put together, the question is not whether one screenshot proves the whole machine. The question is why every road keeps leading back to the same theme. Exposure can created faster than backing can be proven. And when the system breaks, retail is always told The problem is too complicated to explain. That is the bridge into the next section, and Archegos gives us the swap machine. Credit Suisse gives us the bank loss. FTX gives the tokenized stock wrapper. CM Equities and Binance give us the collateral paper trail. Brett Harrison gives us the one-for-one custody promise. BIS gives us the global blind spot warning. AMC and GME give us the clearing stress battlefield. And Citadel gives us the order flow pipe sitting in the middle of the retail market structure. The next question is no longer whether retail was paranoid. The next question is whether regulators, Congress, and the public were shown the full machine or only the polite little showroom version with the fire damage painted over. And that leads to my final word. And I know this was long, but it had to be. And I know it's very, very detailed and very, very thorough, but it has to be. Because the ultimate conclusion, and I will say this because I'm a former soldier. I know there's a lot of former soldiers out there. This is not what I fought for. This is not what I signed up to risk my life away from my family, my kid, or any of that. This is where this all ties together. And this is where you will be disgusted. My final word. The free market funhouse. Where the rich hide the pipes, retail pays the flood damage, and Citadel says, what water? I am not saying one screenshot proves the whole crime. I am saying the receipts now show the machine, and once you see the machine, you cannot unsee it. That is the problem Wall Street has with retail now. We were never supposed to understand the plumbing. We were supposed to stare at the tickers, listen to the talking heads, accept the volatility excuse, eat the losses, go back to work, and let the same people who built the trap explain why the trap was normal. Cute little system, very educational. Thank you, Professor Gaslight. Here's my opinion. And I'm saying it clearly as Security James Joker Ape and as someone who has been digging through this mess piece by piece. The crime is not just one trade, one halt, one tweet, one token, one swap, one market maker, one brokerage, or one bad actor. The real crime is the market structure where regular people are told they own something, but behind the curtain, that same exposure can be routed, internalized, lent, shorted, hedged, swapped, tokenized, collateralized, rehypothecated, netted, and hidden behind legal language so complicated that the average person gets exhausted before they ever reach the truth. And that exhaustion is part of the game. Make the system so complex that regular people quit asking questions. Make the paperwork so thick that transparency feels impossible. Make every lane look separate so nobody connects the pipes. Then, when retail finally starts connecting the dots, call them conspiracy theorists. That is the oldest trick in the free market funhouse. But this report is not built on vibes. It is built on receipts. Andrew Left proves short side narratives can be fraudulent. A jury found him guilty. Securities fraud after prosecution alleged he used public market commentary to move prices while trading for his own benefit. And Reuters reported the case involved claims that he profited by at least $20 million. That does not mean every short seller is criminal. It does not mean that every bearish report is fake, but it proves the model exists. The megaphone can be weaponized. Public fear can be monetized. A loud voice can yell one thing while the trading book does another. Retail was mocked for saying narratives were being used as weapons. Well, now the legal system has shown that. Yes, public commentary and hidden trading behavior can cross into securities fraud. So maybe retail was not crazy. Maybe retail was early again. Archegos proves synthetic exposure can hide inside swaps. Credit Suisse proves banks can eat billions when those swaps blow up. Credit Suisse own board reported that bank lost approximately $5.5 billion after the Archegos defaulted, and that the review involved more than 80 interviews and more than 10 million Credit Suisse documents. Whatever. FINMA later said that Credit Suisse Archegos position was around $23 billion. In March of 21, more than half of Credit Suisse's group equity, and that the bank failed to adequately manage the risk. Translation for a normal person. One hidden relationship, one synthetic exposure mess, one prime broker disaster, and suddenly a global bank is bleeding billions. But sure, just tell retail that hidden exposure is not a real concern. Tell us that if we cannot see it in the public data, it must not exist. That fairy tale died with Archegos. FTX proves that stock-like exposure can be wrapped into tokenized collateral agreements, and Brett Harrison's one-for-one backing statement turns that into a direct custody challenge. If tokenized AMC, Ape, and GME were backed by real shares, then show the custodian, show the share count, show the collateral trail, and show whether those tokens were ever used as margin, swap exposure, or synthetic stock-like collateral. The FTX bankruptcy records confirmed CM Equities and FTX Europe had a collateral agreement tied to the tokenized stock trading, and that Binance and CM Equity had a tokenized stock agreement where Binance purchased certain tokenized stocks from CM Equities. It also shows a $65 million dispute tied to collateral transfers under the agreement. That is the bankruptcy court paper. That is not a rumor. So when FTX leadership represents tokenized stocks as backed for 1-to-1, the answer is simple. They said 1-for-1, then show 1-for-1. Show the real shares. Show the custody trail. Show whether AMC, Ape, and GME tokens were backed, pledged, reused, or turned into another cute little synthetic claim in the Wall Street crypto blender. CM Equities proves tokenized stocks collateral was not just crypto rumor. It was in bankruptcy court. Binance was in the paper trail. FTX Europe was in the paper trail. Collateral agreements were in the paper trail. Tokenized stocks were in the paper trail. And the moment retail asks whether those tokenized stocks were truly backed, suddenly everyone wants to hide behind structure, jurisdiction, affiliates, agreements, arbitration, and bankruptcy language. Funny how easy it is to sell exposure and how hard it becomes to prove backing. Funny how every product is innovated when they are collecting money for complex. When customers ask where the assets are, that is not innovation. That is a fog machine with a ticker symbol. AMC and GME prove the clearing system hit real collateral stress. The House Financial Service memo says customers could trade before deposits fully cleared, while actual ownership transfers still moved through hidden plumbing of the investment industry. It also says that Robinhood Securities received an automated notice at around 5:11 a.m. on January 28th of 2021 showing a deposit deficit of approximately $3 billion, and that Robinhood later restricted transactions in GME, AMC, and other volatile meme stock names. Let me say that in plain English. Retail was told it was trading in a free market. Then the system got hit with a massive collateral problem, and the buy button vanished. Poof. Here's a magic trick for you. That is not retail imagining stress. That is Congress documenting stress. And Citadel. Oh, Citadel. Sat in the middle of the retail order flow while its CEO gave Congress a clean denial. That is why this report points back to Citadel. Not because I am claiming Citadel owned every pipe. Not because I'm saying Citadel controlled FTX, CM Equity, Circle, Paradigm, Robinhood, every short seller, every token, every swap. That would be sloppy, and sloppy gets dismissed. The stronger point is harder to dodge. Citadel Securities was positioned inside the retail execution machine during the exact moment AMC and GME exposed clearing stress, settlement risk, internalized flow, option pressure, retail buying power, and institutional panic. Citadel does not have to own every pipe for Citadel to be the most important pipe to examine. The bridge is not ownership. The bridge is function, migration, and custody claims. Citadel handled flow. Brett Harrison carried Citadel's market structure experience into FTX US. FTX leadership claimed tokenized stocks were backed 1-to-1. CM Equities collateralized tokenized stock trading. Binance and CM Equities had a tokenized stock agreement. Paradigm later invested directly into Citadel Securities through a $1.15 billion minority investment round. Robinhood restricted access. NSCC demanded collateral. Archegos hid exposure in swaps. Credit Suisse showed how banks absorbed the blast. AMC and GME showed what happened when retail pressure hits the machine. Citadel Securities itself announced that Sequoia and Paradigm made a $1.15 billion minority investment in the firm in January 27. So do not tell retail these words were completely separate. The traditional market-making world, the crypto venture world, the tokenized stock world, and collateral world were closer than regular people were ever told. And here is where regular people should be furious, because regular people do not get this version of finance. Regular people get overdraft fees. Regular people get mortgage underwriting. Regular people get credit checks. Regular people get told their paycheck has to clear. Regular people get told their deposit is pending. Regular people get told they cannot spend money they do not have. But somehow, the financial elite can build a system where one share, like claim, becomes another claim, then another exposure, then another hedge, then another token, then another swap, then another collateral entry. And when it blows up, they call it market structure. No. Absolutely fucking not. No. Regular people call that hustle. Regular people call that a rigged table. Regular people call that how many times did you sell the same thing before someone asked for the receipt? How many regular people have to suffer before someone in power admits the obvious? How many people that have pensions and watch them get drained? How many retail investors get mocked? How many families get priced out, squeezed out, and tied or lied to while the same institutions hide behind liquidity? How many times does the public have to watch the wealthy break the plumbing, ask for the bailout, keep the bonuses, seal the records, and then lecture everyone else about responsibility? How about you go eat a dick? Because regular people lose. It is called risk. When institutions lose, it's charged one of their own. Or when an institution loses, it becomes systemic risk. When retail questions, it's a conspiracy. When retail finally charged one of their own, suddenly it is an isolated incident. Funny how isolated incidents all seem to live in the same neighborhood. This is Joker Ape's opinion. The market did not break because retail bought AMC and GME. Retail exposed that the market was already breakable. Retail exposed that the system works beautifully when regular people are predictable, passive, and easy to route. But when regular people bought, held, refused to panic, refused to sell into the narrative, and started demanding receipts, suddenly the machine started smoking. Suddenly we learned about collateral deficiencies. Suddenly we learned about settlement delays. Suddenly we learned about internalization. Suddenly we learned about tokenized stocks. Suddenly we learned about swaps. And suddenly we learned about the balance sheet exposure. Suddenly learned that the casino had a basement, a tunnel, a vault, and a back door nobody mentioned in the brochure. So no, I am not going to make this sloppy. I'm not going to say what I cannot prove. I am not going to say Citadel is legally guilty of things that no court has found. But I am going to say this. Ken Griffin's testimony deserves to be reopened, retested, and compared against the full record, order flow records, internalized communications, NSCC collateral records, swap exposure, tokenized stock collateral, securities lending, ETF baskets, option hedging, market maker risk models, and any custody record tied to tokenized AMC, Ape, or GME. Because if the system was honest, the records should clear him. And if the records do not clear him, then retail deserves the truth. And that is the point. If Ken Griffin told Congress the full truth under oath, then open the books and prove it. Open the routing records, open the communications, open the execution data, open the internal risk discussions, open the market maker exposure analysis, open the AMC, GME, and meme basket files, open the securities lending chain, open the ETF basket exposure, open the swap schedules, open the tokenized stock collateral records, open the records showing whether any AMC, Ape, or GME tokenized products was ever used as collateral, margin support, synthetic exposure, or locate support. If Citadel had no meaningful role beyond ordinary market making, then the full records should clear Citadel. If those records were never demanded, never reviewed, never tested, or were hidden behind redaction and narrow legal definitions, then the case was never truly closed. It was only narrowed. And that is the crime behind the curtain. In my opinion, not just one villain twirling a mustache, not just one bad trade, not just one bad tweet. The crime is a market that gives regular people the illusion of ownership while institutions build layer of exposure that regular people cannot see. The crime is a system where the poor and middle class must prove everything, while the powerful can say, trust us, and keep the records locked. The crime is watching ordinary investors get called dumb money, while the so-called smart money needs hidden leverage, synthetic exposure, tokenized wrappers, narrative warfare, clearinghouse pressure, and legal word games to survive a crowd of retail investors buying a movie theater and a video game store. This is no longer just a meme stock story. This is the market transparency case, and it should be treated like one. Andrew Leff showed the narrative machine can be dirty. Archegos shows synthetic exposure can hide until margin pressure exposed it. Credit Suisse shows a global bank can absorb billions in damage when those hidden risks explode. FTX shows stock-like exposure can be wrapped into tokenized collateral agreements. CM Equities shows tokenized stock collateral belongs in court filings, not just internet debate. AMC, GME show retail pressure hit the real clearing system. Paradigm shows the crypto venture lane cross directly into Citadel Securities, and Citadel is the order flow pipe that must be examined because it sat closest to the retail pressure when the machine started shaking. So when does the regular person finally stand up? Right now. Not with reckless claims, not with weak screenshots, not with emotion alone, with receipts, with dates, with court documents, with testimonies, with SEC reports, with bankruptcy filings, with congressional records, with data, with pressure, with the demand that the people who profit from the machine prove the machine is clean. Because trust us is not evidence. Nothing to see here is not an audit. Market volatility is not an explanation, and absolutely fucking not is not the end of the story when the books are still closed. This is why the AMC AKA exists. This is why Security James keeps digging. This is why Joker Ape is ready to bring this to the battlefield. Not because retail wants fantasy. It's because retail wants truth. And if truth clears them, fine. Let the truth clear them. But if the truth does not clear them, then stop calling retail crazy for pointing at the smoke while Wall Street is standing there with the matches, the insurance policy, and the locked fire report. The final question is simple. If Ken Griffin told the truth under oath, then open the book and prove it. If tokenized AMC, Ape, and GME were backed 1-for-1, then show the share. If the market settled cleanly, then show the settlement trail. If the shorts were legitimate, then show the locates. If the swaps were harmless, then show the exposure. If the narrative were honest, then show the trading records. If the machine was fair, then stop hiding the machine. Until then, this is not closed. This is the case retail should demand get reopened. I know it was long, but it is absolutely needed for you guys. If you give me, it'll be tomorrow, but tomorrow I will go ahead and turn this into an article for you guys to have. And this way you can start demanding for answers because you deserve that answer and you deserve the truth. And that is your case in a nice, clean bow that can't be refused, cannot be denied. And you now have what you need to go to court. So, with that, Matt, as always, thank you, my friend. I know your mic is giving you nonsense, but we're going to fix that here. I'm probably going to fix that right after we're done here. And with that, I also got creative. I give you the new Joker Ape. And also 2 new tracks. Enjoy.
Your new life will cost you your old life. That is the deal. No negotiations, no refunds, no turning back. You say you want change? Then you better be ready to kill the old version of yourself. That weak, undisciplined, excuse-making coward that's been holding you back. He's gotta die. The person you were yesterday is the biggest threat to the person you're trying to become. You can't carry him with you. You can't bring his bad habits, his doubts, his fears, his laziness. If you do, you'll be right back where you started, stuck in the same miserable loop, watching your potential rot while you make excuses. You think transformation is easy? You think leveling up is supposed to feel good? Let me tell you something. It's gonna break you. It's gonna rip you apart piece by piece. Expose everything weak about you and demand that you rebuild yourself from the ground up. The process will make you suffer. But suffering is the toll you pay for a better life. Most people won't make it. They'll hit a wall, feel the pain, and go back to the comfort of their old ways. That's why most people stay average. But you're not most people. If you want to step into your new life, you burn the bridge behind you. You leave no way back, no safety net, no plan B. The old you is dead. Now prove it. You prove it by showing up every damn day, whether you feel like it or not. You prove it by choking out every excuse before it leaves your mouth. You prove it by doing the work, especially when no one's watching, because that's where the real transformation happens, in the dark, in the struggle, when quitting whispers in your ear and you tell it to shut the hell up. Your new life isn't waiting for you. It's not gonna come knocking. It's not a prize you win for showing up a few times and putting in half the effort. You have to take it. You have to fight for it like a starving dog fights for a scrap of food. You have to be willing to bleed for it. And let me tell you something. There is no finish line. There's no point where it gets easy. No moment where you can relax and coast. The second you think you've arrived, you've already started slipping back. That's how people lose. That's how they become soft. They forget what it took to get here. But you won't forget. Because the pain that built you is now part of you. Because you buried the old you so deep that he's never coming back. Because you made the deal, your new life at the cost of your old one, and there's no refund, no return policy. This is who you are now. There will come a day when the doubt creeps in, when the pain feels unbearable, when your mind screams at you to stop. That's the moment where most people fold. That's the moment where they start looking back, thinking about the life they left behind, convincing themselves that maybe it wasn't so bad after all. That's the trap. That's the test. You see, your old life doesn't just disappear. It waits for you. It lingers in the shadows, whispering in your ear, begging you to come back to the comfort of who you used to be. But that version of you was weak. That version of you let fear win. That version of you had a million reasons why things couldn't change, why things were too hard, why the work wasn't worth it. If you listen to that voice, even for a second, you're done. There is no halfway in this process. You either commit fully or you fail. Change isn't some part-time job you pick up when it's convenient. It's a war. And every single day, you either win or you lose. Every time you hit snooze, every time you skip the work, every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you're feeding the old you, giving him life, letting him regain control. And let me tell you something. If you give him an inch, he will take everything. That's why you have to be ruthless. You have to wake up every morning and remind yourself that there is no going back. That person is dead. The old life is gone. The only thing that exists now is forward. And forward is going to hurt. Forward is going to feel like hell. Forward is going to test you in ways you never imagined. People will doubt you. They will try to drag you back into the world you fought to escape. They'll laugh at your discipline, mock your dedication, call you obsessed. That's because they're afraid. They see you becoming something greater, and it reminds them of their own weakness. They want you to fail because your success exposes their complacency. But you don't owe them anything. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them stay exactly where they are while you keep moving. Because the only validation you need is in the work, in the sweat, in the battle scars you earn every single day. You wanted a new life? Then act like it. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop looking for a shortcut. Stop making the mistake of thinking you can change while holding on to the parts of yourself that kept you stuck. You don't get to pick and choose which parts of the process you like. You don't get to keep the comfortable habits, the easy routines, the familiar mindset. You either burn it all down and start over, or you stay exactly where you are, pretending that you want more when you never had the guts to truly go after it. So here's the question you need to answer. Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to sacrifice who you were for who you could become? Because there is no other way. Your new life will cost you your old one. That is the deal. The only question left is, are you ready to make it?
Security James, Joker Ape, Southside and Northbrook, down. I am the one you deny. problem every time I try, but I'm alright. I can't put the bullshit aside, cause I know I can accept it any way that I can. Hopefully one day I can be your man. I try for whatever it can be worth. Just remember I never played you first, yeah. Girl, you know what it was. We had that real shit before it was love. Every damn time I tried to step up, somebody or something fucked it all up. I was the one standing there in the hurt. You was the one I wanted from the first. Just remember when this pain gets worse, I never played you first. I moved from the south side, I did Northbrook cold. Different streets, different faces, different stories being told. I ain't fitting right away, I was guarded as hell. Southside in my blood, you could probably tell. Then I met you, girl, in the whole room changed. You ain't look at me funny, you ain't treat me strange. We talked all the time, hung out every day, laughing my dumb shit, letting out fade away. You was the first one there when that new life hit. Had me thinking maybe Northbrook wasn't all bullshit. Phone calls late night, inside jokes on repeat. Walking around like friends, but that tension ran deep. I wanted to ask you, I had the words in my chest, but every time I tried, life can't fucking with the test. Somebody step between us, something killed the vibe. Bad time and wrong moment, same pain every time. I get close and pull back cause the moment got right. I ain't saying you owe me, I ain't saying you lied, but you knew damn well what I felt inside. I knew you felt something even if you played cool. We was young, we was scared, we ain't know what to do. I am the one you denied. It was a problem every time I tried, but I'm alright. I can't put the bullshit aside, cause I know I can accept it any way that I can. Hopefully one day I can be your man. I try for whatever it can be worth. Just remember I never played you first, yeah. Girl, you know what it was. We had that real shit before it was love. Every damn time I tried to step up, somebody or something fucked it all up. I was the one standing there in the hurt. You was the one I wanted from the first. Just remember when this pain gets worse, I never played you.
You was the girl I kept thinking about, even when I acted tough. I had that south side on my own, but with you it wasn't enough. You got past the attitude, past the jokes and the pride. Had me wanting something real,
but I kept that shit inside, cause I didn't wanna ruin it, didn't wanna lose my place, didn't wanna ask too soon and watch you change your face. But damn, girl, do you know what that did? To be right there close but never cross that bridge. We could talk for hours, could laugh like fools, but the second I got serious, here come life with new rules. A friend showed up, a rumor got started, a bad day hit it, somebody departed. Every time I had courage, something blocked the lane, like the universe itself was addicted to my pain. You became the one name that don't lead a mind, that what if ghost that keep walking behind.
I just remember too much, the way we used to talk, the way we almost touched, the way I look at you and hide what I meant,
the way I go home pissed, cause the moment got spent. Now years go by, but the memory still breathes. Northbrook night still stuck in my dreams. Southside kid trying to learn new ground. First girl I met had my heart locked down. I ain't writing this begging, I ain't chasing no past. I just had to tell the truth, cause the truth still lasts. You was the one that got away before I even had a shot. The one I almost had, but somehow never got. And maybe that's life, maybe that's the curse. Maybe love shows up, then time it makes it worse. But fuck, I still wonder if you ever knew how many times I tried to find a word for you. Then boom, something happened, some bullshit came through, and I'm back in my head, still stuck wanting you. So girl, if you hear this, let it burn, let it hurt. I never played you first. But I'm alright, I can put the bullshit aside, cause I know I can accept it any way that I can. Hopefully one day I can be your man. I try for whatever it can be worth. Just remember I never played you first, yeah. Girl, you know what it was. We had that real shit before it was love. Every damn time I try to step up, somebody or something fucked it all up. I was the one standing there in the hurt. You was the one I wanted from the first. Just remember when this pain gets worse, I never played you first.
South side of Northbrook. First girl I met, first one that made that place feel different. You know who you are.
You was the girl that got away.
Security James.
Joker Ape. I never played you first, yeah. Joker Ape. Joker Ape. Pressure made me, chaos raised me. Don't test what you can't control. Don't fuck with Joker Ape.
Don't play with my cage. I turn all this pressure into war in my veins. Bass hit hard, let it shake through the pain. I came from the chaos, now they all know my name. Don't fuck with Joker Ape, bitch, I'm not the same. Smile on my face, but I'm built out of rage. I don't need peace, I need space, I need stage. My cage, my rules, my time, my name. Fucking with a beast keeper, you don't wanna meet this lyrical meat cleaver. Every bar leave them speechless. People keep talking like it ain't even that deep. To the base, hit hard and wake up the whole street. I wouldn't fuck with me either, only heaven can help you. Been searching for respect, like the legend is dealt to no failure. Hell of a story when I step in the frame. Joker Ape in the dark, everybody know the name. I got mob ties in my mind, cold grind, and my spirit pain talk loud, but they don't wanna hear it. I was built by pressure, baptized by rage, turned every lock door into my own damn state. They said calm down, I said fuck that. They said fall back, I said trust that. I've been too quiet, I've been too nice. Now every damn bar got a butcher knife. Don't fuck with Joker Ape, don't play with my cage. I turned all this pressure into war in my veins. Bass hit hard, let it shake through the pain. I came from the chaos, now they all know my name. Don't fuck with Joker Ape, bitch, I'm not the same. Smile on my face, but I'm built out of rage. I don't need peace, I need space, I need stage. My cage, my rules, my time, my name. Motherfucker, I handle you. Any avenue, average man flipped in to an animal. Heavy with the cadence, every line got attitude. I don't need permission, I was born to break the rules. Reload with precision, every word got ammunition. Dark thoughts spinning like a bad transmission. Break the beat down, you should see the handle. Street talk the child, I ain't read no manuals. Problem child, look what I'm involved in now. Dozen dirty voices in my head get loud. I've been counted out, left broke, left down. Now I walk in the room and make the whole crowd bow. Chasing green was a dream when the nights got wild, but the money never healed what they did to the child. So I built me a monster with a grin in the ground. Joker Ape in the cage, but I own it now. Lock me down, I get louder. Push me back, I get prouder. Pain or gold, that's the power. No fear when the cage starts shaking. On these streets, I'm a beast. I don't feast on the weak, I feast on the doubt. When they thought I wouldn't speak, turn trauma in the thunder, turn silence in the heat. Now the whole damn cage got a pulse from the beat. Sneaky as fuck, I don't think I learned enough. Had to grow up fast when the world got rough. Shut the fuck up when the pressure erupt. I've been carrying pain, now I'm calling this bluff. Who on what? I'm 10 deep in my own mind, 10 different scars from the same old grind. Muscle like a mobster, hands be nasty. I move shaky, I move classy. We ferocious, all focus, no folding. Throw heat from the chest when the beat starts rolling. Soldiers in the dark, everybody get cautious. You don't want smoke with the one they call monstrous. Poof, I'm gone. Poof, I reappear. Laugh too loud when the room don't see clear. Black suit, gold chain, scars in the mirror. Every damn year make the vision more severe. Don't fuck with Joker Ape, don't play with my cage. I turn all this pressure into war in my veins. Bass hit hard, let it shake through the pain. I came from the chaos, now they all know my name. Don't fuck with Joker Ape, bitch, I'm not the same. Smile on my face,
Welcome to the cage.
I don't need peace, I need space.
Round and round we go.
Hope you're not afraid of heights.
This ride never stops!
Enjoy the fall.
Well, that escalated fast. You haven't seen chaos yet.
Aw, don't leave yet. We're just getting started.
That's a wrap. Or is it?